talk a lot about politics. So it is when you ask your audience, what are things we can agree on, regardless of political affiliation? This is really a tough challenge that you're putting out to people, I think, because that's not necessarily how they're used to engaging, right?
Well, the algorithm is your bubble, right? And so you cultivate whatever you talk about is what your bubble turns into.
Yeah.
So when you click on something or engage with something, that you're going to see more of it. And I've been actively trying to change that. Like, I don't want to talk about politics. It was, I don't mind discussing it, but I'm not a politician. I'm not a political science person. I have opinions. That's it. So I don't want to get into the weeds on a lot of things because I'm just not knowledgeable enough to do so. But, I hold strong opinions about certain topics. But I would like to kind of get out of that mindset of we must disagree or you're right, I'm wrong, and then I'm going to beat it into you why
right.
or not,
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I grew up in St. Paul, and we, my parents and all the people that we lived around, they all had different political leanings, and they never talked about it. They didn't talk about religion. They didn't talk about politics, and they all got along great. And now they might know their politics, but they didn't talk about it. So there wasn't all of that push and pull that we have now. And that's, I think, primarily due to social media.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think when you talk to regular people who don't live on social media, right? You can, I think you can still have like normal conversations like this where someone can.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Like where someone can say cats are evil, as one of your commenters said. And you responded, yeah, but they're cute. Now, I think that's fair. Cats, I do believe that cats are plotting at all times a way to take their owner or a visitor down.
I would agree. I think that might be the one we can all agree on. And I have 2 cats, but they are evil.
Yeah, that's all right. Like sometimes we can hold space in our heart for the evil among us when they're really cute. I think it's that simple.
It's important that we call out the truth sometimes.
Well, I love the question, and I wanted to make sure I gave you credit for it since I'm ripping it off for our opening topic today because
I appreciate that.
It's fun. I think it's important to goof around and have some silly fun, but you look through your comments and it's a lot of people are going into trans sports and that was a popular one with people. And you're like, at a certain point, it's okay to be normal. It's okay to be normal.
Well, and what happens is the more you engage with something, the more you see it, as I was saying, and you start to think that that's all that there is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not so here's a really bad analogy that some of the women might get. When you're, I came of age in the 70s and 80s. So when you're young and you are, maybe this isn't the best place to do this.
No, I think you've gone down this road. You may as well finish now.
Okay. So when you're, young, and this is before, right, shortly after the sexual revolution, right, you get together with guys, right?
Yeah, right.
Not necessarily me, right?
Right.
But, when you're young.
You're just chilling, as they say now.
That's what the kids are saying now.
I think so, yeah.
But so, you're waiting around to find out that everything is cool, and then, things are late and it's not cool. And what happens is that you'll start seeing pregnant women everywhere. And every woman, they might not admit this, but it's happened. So and it happens in all things. So wherever you focusing on or worried about, you will see more of. And I think that that's where this gets dangerous. And we don't really pay much attention to that.
Really good. Jennifer, I enjoyed the conversation. I love the prompt that you came up with today. So I appreciate you coming and visiting with us on CCL.
All right. Well, thank you.
Jennifer Brown, Redhead Ranting. Now you guys got to answer her question. Lots of texts coming in. Love some calls. Something we can all agree on regardless of political affiliation. I have a couple answers. Dan maybe has an answer. We'll get yours when we come back. 651-461-9226.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Well, if you've ever been to J.H. & Sons at the Galleria in Edina, we all could agree, regardless of political affiliation, that it is the best men's clothing store in Minnesota. It's Jason here for my friends at J.H. & Sons. I was just at the store today visiting Kevin, who's just back from Chicago, where they did a big buying trip to find the latest of the greatest styles to bring to the Galleria in Edina. J.H. & Sons is a premium menswear store. You're going to love it. The service is next level. Right now, they've got up to 50% off on everything at J.H. & Sons at the Galleria that is from the spring and the summer. So lightweight polo shirts, tons of denim and linen pants on sale, up to 50% off. Polo shirts, button-ups, long sleeve, all sorts of great. Even the shoes are on sale. Lots of great shoes right now. Go check it out, J.H. & Sons. Enjoy the service because they will take care of you. And make sure you let my friends know that you heard about it here on Drive Time.
Heading out for the weekend? Lucky you!
Don't forget to stop at Thielen Meats of Piers for some melt-in-your-mouth moments.
High-quality beef.
Fresh and smoked sausages and brats.
Home-smoked bacon.
All-natural chicken.
A great selection of fish and seafood.
Visit us at thielenmeats.com.
We've got the cuts that'll make your meal.
Call to order ahead and pick up on your way to the lake.
You'll be the hit of the party.
No meals complete without Thielen Meats
of Piers.
Most data breaches don't come from hackers. They come from old laptops and phones sitting in closets. Studies reveal that these neglected devices are a leading cause of data breaches. Recycling your electronics protects your data and the planet. At Electronics Recycling of Minnesota, we offer free, secure recycling services for both individuals and businesses, with certified data destruction options available as well. Protect your data. Protect the environment. Learn more at ecyclemn.com.
Storm season is here. That means nature's fury will cause damage to your roof. When it does, that's when you call Brian Jobe of Jobe Brothers Construction. Because they're local, they offer same-day, Twin City-wide emergency service. Jobe Brothers Construction will repair or replace your roof from nature's wrath. They'll also work with your insurance company to ensure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Brian and his team truly take the hassle out of a terrible situation. Working with Brian and his crew will give you peace of mind because it was done right. Just contact Joe Brothers Construction for a no-obligation, free, and full inspection. Contact them online at joebrothersconstruction.com. That's J-O-B-E, Joe Brothers Construction, handling all your roofing, siding, window, and gutter needs. They'll even repair your roof from fallen trees. Joe Brothers Construction. They get the job done right.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, you guys are responding big time to Jennifer's question about what we can all agree on, regardless of our politics. Go to the text line. Steve in Burnsville, something I think everyone will agree on is that summer road construction is a necessary evil. It's pretty good. I think all true Minnesotans can agree that the Packers suck, says another texter. I used to argue with a coworker who tried to claim that she could cheer equally for the Vikings and the Packers. And I think that is strange but acceptable when they're not playing each other. But she insisted that when they were playing for each other, she would just be happy because one of her teams would win. And I would say you, Pauline Lee, are a lunatic. Like, that is crazy. That's just like go sports. Like, no. Mosquitoes suck, says another texter. Yeah, that's agreed. Dogs. We all can agree on dogs, says a texter. I think dogs, we don't deserve them. I think that is like a Dan Cook-ism.
It's truth is what it is.
I think most people agree with that. And that one doesn't break down on political lines,
Nope.
right?
Shouldn't.
The Canadian smoke sucks, says a texter.
Yeah. I think you could broaden that out even to a weather. We all love to complain about the weather. And that's
true.
summer, that's winter, it's fall, spring, whatever, doesn't matter. We all as Minnesotans love to complain about the weather.
I have too many streaming services and too many passwords. I think we all agree on that we all have too many streaming services and too many passwords. Another texter, orgasms are great. I'm just waiting to hear anyone disagree. And I'm hearing no dissent, the motion passes. There's little doubt. If you disagree on that one, it's time to get the head examined for sure. Let's go to the phones. Phil and Woodbury. My guy Phil is there. Phil, what can we all agree on regardless of politics?
All right. Jay, how you doing, buddy? How you doing?
Awesome.
All right, here's the deal. Now, you said something a minute ago about the Packers. Now, wait a minute. There are neighboring are you laughing?
Yeah.
There are neighboring football.
It's true.
And here's the deal. Not to make anybody mad in Minnesota, but it's a simple yes or no question.
I don't like where this is going at all.
I'm just saying, have they or have they not won Super Bowls?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Our guys,
yes.
we were at the Super Bowl 4 times. We can't even do crap.
Yeah. I mean, we did make it to the Super Bowl. Like,
I know, but we should have won one of them
several lifetimes ago. I mean, it barely counts, those Super Bowls. I know we like to take those 4 Super Bowls, but I don't know. At a certain point, the statute of limitations starts coming in.
That was when they had a real coach and Bud Grant was doing it. I'm just saying.
Maybe the new guy is there for us. Maybe it's Kevin O'Connell time.
You know what the Vikings thing is? Yeah, we'll get them next year.
Oh, Phil, thank you. Very good. Let's go to Howard in Minneapolis. Howard, something we can all agree on regardless of politics.
The opiate epidemic is killing people in blue and red districts alike.
That's very true. Yeah, Greater Minnesota's feeling it. The opioids, no politics. That's a very good one. I sometimes think some of those, and thank you, Howard, like some of those very serious issues, there really is a lot of common ground on them. So there's some, I don't know, you think like the right political leader could figure that out. Jonathan says we can agree that Coke is better than Pepsi. Whoa. I
hope Chad's not listening.
That's hot. That is a hot topic. The ketchup mustard on hot dogs scenario. I feel like that and that's sort of a corollary to Jennifer's question over at Redhead Ranting on X. There are things that we can disagree about also regardless of politics. You know what I mean? Like,
sure. That one doesn't break down on political lines.
That's right. So I call these low stakes arguments. I like low stakes arguments. That used to be my strategy when I was a TV news anchor. I have very strong opinions on very low stakes issues. So like having a strong opinion on, well, like like my strong opinion on little free libraries. I may be the only person in America who thinks little free libraries are stupid. Even for me to say it, you can see how difficult it was for me to say it because I know how much this makes people mad. And I also know like the good intentions and the good heart of the people who are doing it.
And yet somehow you're able to set those aside and just go right for the hate.
I honor the good intentions.
Do you though?
I honor it in a very sort of dismissive, patronizing way. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah. Jason, one thing we can all agree on is that dead puppies aren't much fun. They don't come when you call, and they don't chase squirrels at all. That's dark, but true.
I mean, yeah.
Unquestionably true.
We hope that texture's okay.
Password. Oh, Katie hates the passwords that ask for capital letter, number, emoji, exclamation mark. You pay for one of those passwords things, don't you?
Yes. So I don't have to remember all of them, and then it automatically generates passwords so that I can mix it up and not have to double up passwords everywhere to try to remember stuff. I just have to remember one.
Adam says if you call it a chopped salad and I have to chop it at the table,
that's a problem.
Do I get a discount? Yeah. I think that's fair. I do think that's fair. More low stakes conversations. I think it's all right. We're going to break in a minute. I was probably like you shocked when I saw the Minnesota Supreme Court said that it is legal to have what we commonly call a ghost gun. So a gun with no serial number on it is apparently okay now. Why? How did this happen? What went wrong? And what is going on with Vance Boelter pleading not guilty today? What's this reasoning behind that when it appears he's already confessed to the crime? Some legal questions. Court in session with our friend Joe Tamburino in just a minute here on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO. Call in.
Hello. Thanks for having me on.
Make your point.
You're talking at two sides of your mouth.
Be heard.
I didn't like it at all.
Thank you for talking about this issue.
You got a take?
That is the greatest American thing we can do for one another.
Don't just listen. Come on, jump in.
You can't always be fair. The people we have in charge, they can't make a decision. This isn't something funny, and it should not be posted on social media.
Your voice matters here. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Grown-ups, aren't Sundays more fun without, can I have screen time? Can I have a snack? I don't want to go to Grandma's. It smells funny. And I'm bored. Bored is impossible on Kids Day at Target Field. The gate 34 lawn is turned into Bullseye's backyard. Kids' meals are half off. Kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game. And Grandma's invited too. Enjoy your weekend wind-up with Sunday Kids Days, presented by Target. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
Dave Lee for Aquarius. Let's talk about your main drain. That pipe that's supposed to drain, not gurgle like a science experiment gone wrong. If your sink drains slower than your buddy's fishing stories or your shower backs up like a traffic jam, it's time to call Aquarius. They're my go-to home service experts and always provide solutions you can trust and enjoy $98 off any repair. Visit AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, local, trusted, and earning the right to be recommended.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
New month, new flavors. Jordana here for my friends at Mini Leaf. I'm talking about those Sleep Night gummies. I know you love them, and they even have a new and improved Sleep Night gummy. But here's a twist. They got some new flavors. So, better sleep and some yummy new flavors. Great grape, green apple, snooze, and mellow mango in the nighttime blend. And of course, everybody loves the peaceful pineapple. That still exists in those Sleep Night gummies. Better sleep is the way to a better you. Mini Leaf can make that happen. I give these out to friends all the time. I recommend them for anybody who's having sleep troubles. You guys know they help me get off my Ambien, really. These gummies help me get off a pharmaceutical. I hope they will do wonders for you. Here's how you get them. Minileaf.com. MINILEAF.com.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Imagine placing an investment trade without fear. Knowing that big institutions have taken the same trade as you, pushing the price higher, which only they can do. You get to ride the wave of institutional demand. If not, your plan will protect you from the downside. This is how our students are taught to invest in trade. Right now, you can sign up for a free investing class where we'll outline our strategy for following the smart money. Text investing to 210-210. We'll also review strategies for growing a retirement portfolio, how professionals profit when stocks are falling, and how to protect your investments against inflation. With a 25-year history, local classrooms, and one-on-one support, you're not alone. And now it's your turn. Sign up for a free investing class today. Text investing to 210-210 to learn with OTA.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Here in Minnesota, visit buildnorth.com, North 35E near Victoria Street, crash off the right. Traffic is a bit slow. You come up from Highway 62, North 169. That's a slow ride, heavy traffic in place. Highway 62 all the way up to Mass Lake Road, 694 jammed up both directions right now between 35W and Highway 100. Attention motorists, Lyona, Minnesota wants you to slow down when driving in construction zones. You're now entering their work zone, where they are building a better Minnesota for you. So please slow down when you see the orange cones and yellow vests and save lives. Brought to you by Lyona, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jordana Green here. I pray you and your family are always safe. But if there's ever a time where you need an advocate after an accident, let Mike Bryant of Bradshaw and Bryant help you. He will work with and for you in dealing with the insurance company. Call 800-770-7008 today. Bradshaw and Bryant, seeking justice for the injured.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Bradshaw and Bryant bringing us the forecast. We are really keeping our eyes open on the next couple of days for rain chances. Here's Chris Schaefer.
Showers and thunderstorms possible overnight, mainly across northern Minnesota. We could get clipped in the morning. It's heat tomorrow, 91 for the high, partly cloudy, very humid, and a bit breezy. National Weather Service does have a heat advisory in play from noon till 10 p.m. Could feel like 100 degrees. Make sure you stay hydrated and take it easy tomorrow.
Right now in downtown, it is 87. It is sunny. This is summer on CCM.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
I will agree with you. I think he is incredibly talented. He really brings it all.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
So the guy accused of killing Mark and Melissa Hortman, terrorizing our elected official, today pleads not guilty in federal court. You heard that story at the top of the hour here on CCO News. I want to get some more insight from our friend Joe Tamburino, criminal defense attorney. Joe is our legal analyst at Tamburino Law Group in Minneapolis, and he's with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker hotline. A lot to talk to you about. Lots going on in court. So court's in session, Joe. Here we go.
How you doing, Jason? Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's totally in session. Obviously, no one was surprised about the not guilty plea by Mr. Boelter. I mean, that's very common.
What, when you're in his situation and you've essentially confessed, is there any real strategy towards pleading not guilty, or are you just trying to extend the process, or does he want to really have his moment in court to tell his story as to why he did this and have his platform? What are the things you go through in this sort of conversation with a client?
Well, it could be everything that you've just stated, but basically it's this. The not guilty plea doesn't mean you are actually not guilty, that empirically it's true you didn't do this. The not guilty plea is a legal plea that just says, right now I am pleading not guilty so that I could preserve my rights through this process to dispute the evidence. Maybe there was a improper search warrant or a bad car search, like in drug cases or something like that. So you say, I'm going to preserve my rights to dispute evidence later on. I would imagine the big thing in Mr. Boelter's case is the death penalty. Now, From what we've read in the media, it looks like they're not going to make a decision on that till sometime in November. But I would imagine this case from the defense side is gearing up to fight that.
They laid out a schedule here. And, I think most of us don't get all down in the weeds as to what all of this stuff means. But you hear about, you have the right to a speedy trial. And today, Boelter waived the right of a speedy trial. And the court sort of laid out a schedule that makes this sound like we're not really going to get a trial in this thing for maybe a year. Does that stand out to you? Is that unusual?
No, it's not unusual. Not in a case like this. I mean, this was Minnesota's biggest manhunt ever. And there's tens and tens of thousands of pages of documents. It's called discovery, and also hundreds and hundreds of hours of tapes, audio, video of discovery. So it's going to take a long time to go through all of that. And what the judge also agreed with is that this is considered a complex case. So you're right. We all have a right to a speedy trial. In federal court, it's usually 70 days after the indictment. However, in certain situations, the defendant can waive that. And in certain situations, like with a complex case, the time is simply elongated. It doesn't mean that a person's speedy trial rights have been violated. Not at all. It means that. But what it means is that because of the nature of the case, it's just going to take a little longer. And in something like this, of course, it's going to take long. Additionally, there might be what's called a protective order. Now, what a protective order is it says, look, defense, we're going to give you this information, but you can't make it known. Or if you do make it known, only to certain people. Because I would imagine in a case like this, you're going to get information that's quite private on individuals. You're going to get juvenile information, all these kind of things that is not for the public's view at this time. So there's so many moving parts with something like this.
Joe Tamburino is with us. I've been a little surprised at the fact that Boelter has been corresponding with the New York Post and also the New York Times. The latest thing, and this, I feel like his messages to the New York Times maybe didn't get as much attention as the New York Post one, but he said that, because we're all trying to figure out the motivation here. Is there a bigger lesson? What was the deal with this guy? Did somebody have a chance maybe to send up a red flag? But he is really sticking with this idea. He said, because I love my neighbors, prior to June 14th, I conducted a 2-year-long undercover investigation. This kind of stuff, when people, as a defense attorney, this has got to be your absolute nightmare. You do not want your client talking to anybody, right?
100% true. I would imagine his defense team is constantly telling him, do not give statements. Don't interact with anybody about this case. But, as any, defense attorney or any attorney period would tell you, you can't control your clients sometimes. Your clients have free will. If they decide to pick up the phone and talk to the, Pioneer Press or the Star Tribune, they can do so. But it's such to his detriment. But I'm sure the legal advice that his team is giving him is please don't give any statements.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and look, all of you out there listening, if you someday commit a crime, which you shouldn't, don't commit a crime, but you should be talking to me. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing with the New York Post? How about keeping it local? How about think about us? I'm just saying. Joe Tamburino is. If you ever have a crazy client, Joe, who wants to tell their story, you give him my number. You give him my number.
First one to call.
Let's talk about this Supreme Court ruling. That I was surprised by this ruling, but this does go to a longstanding issue that you and I have talked about often, that our legislatures on a state level and especially on a national level sort of have absconded their duties and made judges and Supreme Courts sort of make law. Is that why the Minnesota Supreme Court said, well, it seems like it is legal to possess these ghost guns, what we call ghost guns? Is this just because the legislature never banned it?
That's exactly right. Everything you have said so far is exactly right. And you're talking about the Vagel case, V-A-G-L-E, that came down. And what the Minnesota Supreme Court said, and they're correct, which is, look, Minnesota legislature, you said in these laws that you only have to put a serial number on a gun if the federal law requires that. So switch that around. That means it's illegal to possess a gun in Minnesota unless it has a serial number, only if the feds require that. And the federal government, under federal statutes, only require, serial numbers on certain types of guns. Everybody thinks if you make your own homemade gun, the feds require you to put a serial number. That's not the case. If you make your own gun, and it's what's called a detectable gun, meaning that if you walk through a metal detector or something like that, they would know you have it. And you're not selling it. You're not making this gun for money or for nefarious purposes. You're just some type of gun enthusiast, and you make some type of gun to shoot at a range. You don't need a serial number. So what the Supreme Court of Minnesota said is, hey, Minnesota legislature, really, you could have done better with this law. You didn't. What you did was you just said, well, if the feds require it, we're going to require it too. And there's an easy way around this. I mean, Minnesota, the legislature, and, the governor would have to sign off on it, could say all firearms are going to have serial numbers. Now, that might be challenged later on, but they could do that.
It does seem concerning. I think, I can understand an enthusiast or a hobbyist trying to do something. But we also know there have been a lot of criminals who have been prosecuted because this is sort of an easy thing to prove, right?
It is. And that's why under federal law, if you make a gun that's not detectable, like, we always hear about these 3D printers and there's some type of a plastic gun that you can walk through airport security. Well, that's illegal, of course. Also, if you started making homemade firearms and started selling them, or you were going to use these firearms to give it to, gang members to do robberies or something, all that's illegal. But your regular, if there is such a thing, homemade firearm that just you will use, it's not going to be used for any crime, you're not going to sell it, that you don't need a serial number.
Joe Tamburino is with us. One more case that's gotten a lot of public attention is the now former state senator, Justin Eichhorn, who was arrested for allegedly soliciting a minor for sex. And now he is asking the judge to identify the undercover cop who posed for this sex ad. I will say, one, unequivocally, people who are going out to meet someone that they think is underage or think is close to underage for sex is disgusting, is abhorrent, and I condemn it 100,000%. And these sorts of stings often leave me a little, as a sort of libertarian, leaves me a little uneasy because people are being arrested for what they showed up intending to do. Does my unease with this make any sense?
Yes, there is some unease to it. And what you're getting at is, I don't know if you recall this, but about 20 or so years ago, there was a movement to do what's called reverse stings with narcotics, where undercover officers would go on the street and offer you drugs. And there's something, is it illegal? No, but there's something that just doesn't fit right. This is a little bit different than that, because in this kind of a case, and it's good to question it. What you're questioning is good. I mean, that's proper to question it. But in this kind of a case, what the defense is saying is, I really didn't know that the person was going to be under 18, even though my words on the text say that. And what the government is saying, no. A crime is committed as soon as you agree via text or otherwise to engage in sexual acts with a minor. And it doesn't matter if the person is actually a minor. What the law says is, if you think the person is a minor, that's right. That's right. So if somebody was texting, like in this case with Eichhorn, if he was texting with this person and she said, like, according to the documents that have been released, she said, well, I'm 17 or I'm 16. If he would have said, I don't believe that, I think you're an adult, prove it to me when I come see you, might have been a different case. But according to what's been filed, there, and this is public filing, and it's, I'm sure it's embarrassing for Mr. Eichhorn. What it looks like is everybody knew that this decoy or undercover was less than 18, that she was 17, and they were talking about all these sex things. Yeah, the texts are bad.
All right. Good stuff. Joe Tamburino, excellent insight as always. We appreciate it. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
All right. 3:49 in just a minute. A Minneapolis mayoral candidate chasing down a car thief. We'll talk about that next.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
A picture is worth 1,000 words. And if you want to sell your home for the most money possible, the right exterior photographs can get you thousands of dollars more. Contact my friend, the Good Neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home next year, those pictures might be taken in the winter, and your home is just not going to look as warm and inviting if there's snow on the ground. This month only, John will send out his professional exterior photographer, and it's going to let you show off your home while your lawn and garden are looking their best. No out-of-pocket costs. Also, a free staging consultation if you sign up this month. No obligation to hire John to sell your home either. You should, but he'll still be a good neighbor and help you out even if you choose someone else. Contact John, 952-222-9000 online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Don't miss the savings during Runnings Gift Card Bonanza. Shop in-store and online August 12th and 13th. Get a $10 gift card when you spend $100. Get a $25 and $500. The more you spend pre-tax, the more you earn, in-store and online. Don't miss the gift card bonanza at your local Running store. Shop any of our 90 locations or online anytime at runnings.com. Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store.
For just a moment, imagine life without joint pain. Erase the constant ache in your knees, shoulders. Imagine moving with ease, unafraid of that next jolt of pain. At QC Kinetics, we believe your health is your greatest investment, and we're here to help you regain it. Our advanced regenerative therapies revitalize damaged joint tissue with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's not just about relieving pain, it's about restoring your freedom and confidence. Imagine golfing, hiking, or just walking without hesitation. Imagine waking up every morning without pain holding you back. With QC Kinetics, you can turn those dreams into reality by investing in something priceless, your health. Find out if you're a viable candidate by requesting a free consultation today. Call 612-324-5450. What's your health worth to you? If it's worth a free call and consultation, here's the number: 612-324-5450. 612-324-5450.
When my business was taking off, our old phone system just wasn't cutting it. We needed fewer missed calls, more flexibility, and better visibility into customer conversations. That's when I found OpenPhone.
OpenPhone is the all-in-one system for small businesses and growing teams.
Manage multiple numbers from one device, work seamlessly as a team with shared numbers, and stay organized with AI-powered call transcripts, summaries, and next steps, so nothing gets missed and your team responds faster. OpenPhone integrates with tools you already use, like Slack, HubSpot, and Zapier, so everything's connected and efficient.
Having tried just about every relevant small business phone system, OpenPhone is truly in a league of its own. It's now essential to how we run our business, and I couldn't be happier with the value it brings.
See why over 60,000 businesses trust OpenPhone. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things are slow for northbound 35W, County Road 96 up to Highway 10. 10 eastbound jammed up down from Airport Road 235W. Driving west 94, you get your speeds dipping below the coast to down and off some between Hemlock Lane all the way up into the area of Rogers. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Hot, hot, hot. Heat advisory noon to 10 tomorrow. Going to feel like it's up to 100 degrees. First, we get through tonight, some showers possible, and the overnight low of 74. That's a hot overnight. Partly cloudy and humid, high of 91 tomorrow. Showers possible early on Saturday. Right now, it is 87. The weather is brought to you by Gutman Law here on CCO.
Hear about it. Talk about it. Add your voice to the mix. The CCO Talk and Text line. 651-461-9226.
All right, what would you do if you saw someone steal a car right in front of you? What would you do? I'm not sure I would do what Minneapolis mayoral candidate Jazz Hampton did just the other day. He posted this video from appears to be like a doorbell camera. So the audio is not great, but you'll get the idea.
What happened? What did they do? They just went my car. There's no place. Which car? That white car down there. If you go around this block, I can go this way.
And there you go. You go around the block, I'll go this way, he said. He hears his neighbors say they got in my car. They had no plates. And so you go this way, I go that way. He goes and chases to try to get the getaway vehicle. So the car was broken into, and he's chasing the getaway vehicle. Car break-ins and vandalism, it's a real problem here in Minneapolis. There's no question about it. Dan, would you go chase down the car? I don't think I would do that.
Well, especially in not, he describes
then what?
Well, he describes later on that they were at least attempting to show that they had a gun, or feigning. I think he implies that they were feigning that like they had a gun to try to get him to back off. But how in that kind of split second that they're faking and maybe don't have a real? I mean, no, I'm not going at. That's what police are for. That's their job, not mine.
Well, and we know that police are not really responding to this kind of stuff because we're understaffed. They're chasing down shootings and other things.
And it's still not my job to go chasing.
Yeah, I know it's not my job either. I wouldn't do it, but I admire it. Like, I admire the fact that in that moment, the first gut instinct was to help and to try to do something. Now, I think if you ask Jazz later, like, hey, what's okay, if you catch up to the car, then what? I mean, it's always the problem, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I admire the instinct to help. I just think there are much better and safer ways to do it than.
I don't think there is. There's no way to help. No one's coming to your help right now in this city. If someone steals a car or breaks into a car, it's every man for themselves. You are not getting help. Maybe that's the bigger problem.
So he can go get shot then.
Yeah. Dan's too logical. I admire it. CBS News coming up. Mary Moriarty, a couple bombshells on the way out the door next.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Juice box. I'm a mom.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check. Oh, hot sauce. Take it.
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins, a balloon. Wait one sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 per month on Experience Beyond. Finance agreement at $29.99 at qualifying port. For well-qualified, plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Postman Law is about winning. If you've been hurt in a crash, on the job, or anywhere else, we fight to get you the most compensation possible. With over $3 billion recovered, our track record speaks for itself. Call 844-POSTMAN. Postman delivers speed, ease, and results. Offices, Minneapolis.
We are Minnesota. We are News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Streaming live on the Free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Tammy McCormick. It's unclear now where things stand in President Trump's efforts to win the war in Ukraine.
I don't like low rates. I think it's a shame.
He was asked by reporters just minutes ago if the deadline of tomorrow still stands for Russian President Putin to agree to some sort of deal.
It's going to be up to him. We're going to see what he has to say. It's going to be up to him. Very disappointing.
Trump had proposed talks, the Kremlin said today. It was possible next week. A senior FBI official who served as acting director in the first weeks of the Trump administration has been forced out. Jake Rosen reports Brian Driscoll is one of 3 exits from the Bureau.
Driscoll, importantly, was the FBI agent, obviously at the top of that organization for a very short period of time, who slowed down and tried to stop the Trump administration's move to gather information on the agents who worked on the Trump investigations and also January 6th. That is hundreds of agents.
In the Texas redistricting battle, Senator John Cornyn claims he's now gotten the FBI involved in bringing back Democratic lawmakers. Reporter Trevor Sohaki.
We're still not sure exactly what level of involvement the FBI is going to be in this case. Are they going to be going across state lines? Are they going to physically arrest these lawmakers and bring them back into Texas?
A federal judge has ordered a temporary halt to construction of the Immigration Detention Center in Florida, known as Alligator Alcatraz. Attorneys are arguing over whether it violates environmental laws. Eleanor Watson reports from the Pentagon some transgender service members will be losing benefits.
The Air Force is denying early retirement benefits for transgender service members with 15 to 18 years of service, even though they're being forced to retire early. The Pentagon has required all transgender service members to either self-identify to leave or gradually be pushed out.
Linda Kenyon reports the administration's canceling billions of dollars in funding for solar energy programs.
The $7 billion grant program approved under the Biden administration was meant to help
pay for residential solar projects for nearly 1 million homes in low-income communities. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, who released a statement calling the funding a boondoggle, said authority for the program was eliminated under President Trump's tax and spending bill signed into law last month. Environmental groups, state departments of energy, and other clean energy advocates have threatened lawsuits to prevent the EPA from killing the grass.
In Israel, the Security Cabinet's weighing a possible expansion of the war in Gaza. Prime Minister Netanyahu said on Fox today that Israel would take control of Gaza. On Wall Street today, stocks finished lower, the Dow up 224. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit progressive.com.
Minnesota's trusted voice every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy, humid, 87 degrees at 4:03. I'm Laura Oakes. Vance Boelter back in court today, pleading not guilty to federal charges related to the killing of Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, and the shooting of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. He faces numerous counts, including murder, stalking, and firearms offenses. 2 of the charges carry the possibility of the death penalty if convicted. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty announcing she won't seek re-election.
I know that some of you will be surprised to hear this. We've become accustomed to elected officials who are more invested in holding on to power than doing the work of the people. That is not me.
WCCO political analyst Floyce Olson says this comes after a fair amount of controversy during her first term.
She's come sideways with some in her own party. The public has been frustrated by some of the lack of prosecutions, but she's put herself out there. She ran on a certain amount of reform. She certainly tried to achieve that.
Moriarty says her decision to not run means she can focus on finishing her work without having to consider the political implications. Minnetonka-based United Health Group has been given the green light by the Justice Department to acquire one of the country's largest home health and hospice care providers. The more than $3 billion acquisition of Amedisys also requires United Health Group to sell off 164 of its hospice and home health locations over antitrust concerns. A Stillwater healthcare workers' strike has been averted thanks to a new tentative deal between union members and Health Partners Stillwater Medical Group. It includes raises, bonus increases, and some new non-discrimination language, which will be put to a member vote next week. The Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board closing a number of beaches due to poor water quality. Water Resources Supervisor Rachel Crabb with a good tip before you jump into one of the city's lakes.
If you are in the water and you can't see your feet when you're in the water up to your knees, that's another sign that there might be blue-green algae around. So just, scan the water before you swim. You want to be healthy, during your swim, after your swim.
She also says E. coli is pretty common this time of year as the bird migration gets underway. Finding that secret free parking spot on Falcon Heights streets at State Fair time is coming to an end this year. The city is contracting with Park Mobile to charge $25 per spot within a several block radius of the fairgrounds. City Administrator Jack Linehan says there won't be meters, but the system will be user-friendly.
They're not going to be marked stalls. So it's basically if you find a spot, you just follow the signage and pay. And so, it all depends on how people park. And so anywhere from $800 to $1,000 is what we anticipate.
The pay to park area for $25 will be primarily in the northeast quadrant of Falcon Heights, roughly bounded by Snelling and Hamlin Avenues and Roselawn and Iowa Avenues. WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Traffic update is brought to you by American Cancer Society. Use caution on the ramp. Got a stalled vehicle reported 94 westbound to North 101 up in Rogers, affecting the right lane traffic-wise on the main line of 94. That's already heavy. Hemlock Lane heading up to 101. Driving 494 northbound, that's jammed up Bass Lake Road into Fish Lake Interchange. If you're traveling 35E, got slowdowns both directions between Highway 62 and I-94. And your slowdowns place through the work zone of Highway 212 between Eden Prairie Road and 494. American Cancer Society is making strides against breast cancer by walking in celebration of courage and hope. Are you ready to join the largest, most impactful breast cancer movement in the country? Join today by signing up at makingstrideswalk.org. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Choose Herbert and Gerbert's when you want fresh ingredients for a perfect like the Italian Flash or the Turkey Avocado Norma. Funky meats are full of flavor. And don't forget our hearty soups and chili. Stop by or order ahead online. Herbert.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Herbert and Gerbert's. Fresh ingredients on sandwiches always. And don't forget that soup. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
A line of showers and thunderstorms will race across the state while we sleep tonight, only cooling back to 74. We could see some of that shower activity in the morning. Then it's all about the heat. Partly cloudy with a high of 91, a humid day, a breezy day, and a heat advisory in play from noon until 10 p.m. because it could feel up to 100 degrees. Saturday, some showers and thunderstorms are possible early. Should be dry for much of the day. A high of 85, but still humid.
Partly cloudy right now, 87 degrees. It is humid. That dew point at 71, making it actually feel like 93 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Deep fried news on a stick. Make plans now to see Minnesota's radio station at the Great Minnesota Get Together. News Talk 830 WCCO. Good questions. Topics you'll probably talk about at dinner. Places to go for dinner. This is the Ride Home Reimagined. Welcome to Drive Time with DeRusha. Now, here's Jason DeRusha.
That sure would be nice to go to the beach, wouldn't it? Go to the lake. Every year we have this. Finally, it gets warm enough to have like real summer. A lot of E. coli. Unpopular opinion. I think people should swim in lakes that have high E. coli levels. I think life was better. Somehow we all survived when we used to not test for this stuff.
Okay, you first.
Oh, you get a little tummy ache. Oh, no. You get the poops. Big deal.
I'll meet you at the lake. You go ahead.
Why do we have to test for everything? I don't know that more data is always good. Is this a better outcome, you think? No one can swim because one person might get the runs? I don't know. I don't know what is.
I reject that premise because it wouldn't be just one person that got that.
How do you know?
The history. Why do you think that they start testing for this stuff?
Right, let's say
because a bunch of people got sick. That's
so
why they test.
Let's
for
say
stuff.
10 people get sick.
Yeah,
and 10,000 people have a great time at the lake.
That's not. Those numbers are not accurate.
I believe they're accurate.
I'm sure you do.
Where's your evidence? Prove me wrong.
No. You made the claim. You got to provide the evidence, not me.
Why do we have to test? This is my unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
We are well.
One of several.
I don't know that. Is this that unpopular?
I will find out.
Maybe you guys are with me. 651-461-9226. Dan does think I have several unpopular. What happens on this show every day, and maybe this will be a recurring segment for us. And now, here's Jason's unpopular opinion. I always like these on social media when people kind of let rip their unpopular opinion. Most of the time, it's just engagement bait, right? Like, people are not, here's my unpopular opinion, I should be able to take a walk down the sidewalk. You're like, well, everyone thinks that. That's not unpopular. It's sort of like this dialogue about Sydney Sweeney and her genes. Even the most woke people out there, I think, are at most neutral on the whole bit. But, you find the three people who are loud and freak out about it. No, I don't know that closing these things. Now, maybe some public health expert can step up and tell me why. But like, if the worst case, Because when they say high E. coli levels, it really just means generally it's bird poop, right? Like there was a lot of rain.
It seems what they want to blame it on today.
And it
anyway,
washes the bird poop into the lake. But like we've spent our whole life swimming in lakes that have bird poop in it. And it didn't just start raining today. So why do we have to shut all this stuff down? And I get it. Once you test, you're like, well, now we know. So we have to take action, do we? We're looking for areas to cut government. We're looking for areas to save money. I say, how about lighten up with the lakes?
I think public health is under attack quite enough. Thank you very much.
I'm not attacking public health. I'm just saying, like, we don't need to protect people from everything.
Just public health, isn't it?
No, public health is like a weighing of risk, a messaging as to what steps you would take, knowing what the risk is, knowing that every action has a reaction. So there's always, unintended consequences, other risks. Public health is not, here is the established science. Public health is, well, there's always a balancing act. And in this case, I think the balancing act is you should do this. I am saying we're balanced in the wrong direction.
Okay.
Texture, if you have never had E. coli, shut up.
Well, there's that.
Look, if I shut up about everything that I don't know about, we'd have to cut 2 hours out of this show. It is horrible. I presume. I mean, it sounds horrible. I don't know. You're ingesting. But like, again, am I wrong that we used to just exist with it?
Yeah, and a lot of people probably got sick, and then they figured out maybe this is a good idea not to let people swim in the lakes with the bird poop.
I don't know that the sacrifice is in the right level here. Maybe swim in some poop. We were tougher. We were stronger as a country.
We were sicker.
Well, maybe build up some immunity. Drink down some goose poop in your water.
Okay. You first.
Well, it's a balancing act. You take a shot of vodka, then you take a shot of lake water, and then you take another shot of vodka. It's a cleansing. I mean, this is how it works.
You have to strain it like your olive oil stuff the other day.
I did have that olive oil washed martini.
Yeah.
Last night. It was delicious. If you're in the water and you can't see your feet, was what the news said. And the texter says, when could I ever see my feet in Lake Owasso? I was never sick. I was always swimming. That's right. We were a proper country. Jason, have your kids swim in the lake? I would.
Fortunately, your children are smart enough to go, no. What are you, out of your mind?
What, do I have to tell them that the lake has been closed because of E. coli?
Guessing there's maybe some signage around.
I don't know. Did they put up like police tape or something?
Probably something, yeah.
So dramatic. I just think we're so dramatic. And then the news is all like, it's E. coli. It sounds so serious. It's just like, some bird poop got washed in the lake. Big whoop. Big whoop. That's what I say.
It is what you say.
My other unpopular opinion, and I hinted about this in the last hour.
This might be my favorite of your unpopular opinions, by the way.
Why do you like this opinion?
I don't know. I just love it. It feels so superfluous and preposterous on its face. And your commitment to it is such that I admire it.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Jason,
you knew that was coming.
Jason, it's pretty irresponsible to use your public voice to encourage risky health behavior without any evidence. Well, Dan balanced it out. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Legally, we're in the clear.
Totally in the clear.
Look, they closed it. I didn't tell you should go swim in a closed lake. I said, I don't know that they should close the lakes. That's very different. Also, let's settle down on I'm encouraging irresponsible public health behavior. Look at this country. I am encouraging sort of fun, kind of maybe borderline reckless public health behavior. That's not quite irresponsible. So I don't like the little free library. I don't like it. I don't like the phrase virtue signaling because generally I think signaling that you are virtuous is a good thing. We could use more of that in our society today.
Virtue should be encouraged, yes.
So I'm pro virtue signaling. But in the Star Tribune today, Laura Ewan, who I think is a wonderful, wonderful columnist. Laura was, but also Laura strikes me as the kind of person who would love a little free library. Like, it's so sweet.
Yeah.
You're taking your walk in your neighborhood. It's wonderful. And then you can go and open this little free library, this little birdhouse in someone's front yard, and you can grab a hold for no charge of like a Harlequin romance from 1996.
Perfect.
Paperback with Fabio on it. I don't know. I assume that's what people are putting in those things.
I saw this article today.
You knew it would drive.
Oh, absolutely. Because it was almost like it was written intentionally with you and this opinion in mind. Like, hey, if you think little free libraries drive you nuts, look at these.
Correct. Laura found, I mean, I guess like if you need a book that you don't want to pay for, gosh, if only there were a place where you could go to where it was free. And they would call it something like a library. We have that. Now there are 9 little free library spinoffs that Laura found in her column. And I'm not going to get into all of them, Dan.
Oh, I wish you would.
Need a dog toy, a tampon, or a poem? And honestly, doesn't this sound like a setup to an old Karnak joke?
Kind of does, yeah.
Johnny Carson.
Kind of does.
A dog toy, a tampon, and a poem. So
the fact that we're connecting little free libraries and some sort of dog related thing is a match made in heaven. That's perfect.
Someone has created a poetry hut. I actually like the poetry hut.
Okay.
Because like in life, if you weren't just going to come upon a poem, you know what I mean? And so there is a little bit of delight in the idea of you're out for a walk. You're like, you know what? There's a little poetry. Huh. You know what, Dan? I'm fine with the poetry hut.
Okay.
I like the poetry hut more than the little free library.
Well, you like a lot of things more than the little free library, but
there's a dog library.
Sure.
In St. Paul. And the dog library is, you think about it. You're like, well, what would a dog want to check out? And a dog would want to check out sticks, tennis balls, and dog treats.
There you go.
Now, again, like that's pretty good.
Yeah. See, you're coming around.
Actually, I like all of these better than the little free library, which just goes to how much this thing annoys me.
You can tell. I love it.
Here's this kid. If you're watching on the YouTube stream, you can see the kid, 8-year-old Peter, spelled Peder, which, by the way, mom, Laura in South Minneapolis, is it Peter? Is it Pater? Like, why are you doing that to the kid? But Pater set up a Matchbox car free library.
Oh, there you go.
That's pretty cool.
That's fantastic.
All right. That's some of my. If you have an unpopular opinion that you would like to get off your chest, a lot of people coming to my defense.
We've debated mine before, but my number one unpopular opinion, and I will die on this hill, is that the cycle is the dumbest baseball celebration in all of history, in all of sports, really.
It's pretty good. All right, your unpopular opinions next. Also, a little reaction. Something that I have that might be an unpopular opinion is about Mary Moriarty. As she announced she stepped down, we'll talk a little bit about some of the things she said today in just a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Tell you what is popular right now, Chris Lindahl's guaranteed cash offer. It's Jason here for Chris. Chris is my friend. The guaranteed cash offer is currently popping. And I'm like, Chris, what is up? Why is there so much energy around the idea of a guaranteed cash offer? And he said, well, part of the deal is that right now, so many people are just uncertain. They're nervous about the economy. They're nervous about interest rates. They're nervous about competition when it comes to selling your home. And so what they're doing is saying, I want a fresh start and a fast start on a new life. And so the guaranteed cash offer is a great way to get you to the finish line. And it's actually faster than I thought it was, because Chris is telling me his team can get you to the finish line now in as little as 2 days. 2 days. I know Chris. He's a Minnesotan. He's one of us. He's a great guy. His team will help you out. Get to Chris Lindahl today. Get that guaranteed cash offer and start packing. Terms and conditions may apply.
If something happens to you, what happens to your family? Will they struggle financially? Will they be able to afford the home you built together? With Ethos, you can get life insurance coverage in minutes. Get up to $2 million in coverage for as little as $2 a day. All online with no medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Rates may vary. Billed monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us, so we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Chad back here with you. I want to talk about trust and peace of mind. We all need it, in particular in some areas, including your insurance. Maybe it's for your business, or maybe it's more traditional with your house and your car. For me, I have trusted Amber Scholl and Associates with American Family for what I guess, 5 years, 10 years? No, my entire family, whether it's my father or my kids, with American Family, with Amber in particular, for 30 years. We dread something bad happening with our house, with a car accident, but we need people with expertise, with professionalism and availability, and that's what Amber and her team are all about. Reach out to them today. It's worth it. Trust me. 651-738-4811.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Texters, it's just bird crap. Let's swim. LOL. Go swim in some poop. Ha ha ha. I spit my coffee out, Jason. I have never had E. coli, but based on Jason's uninformed opinion, I want to go swimming. I've been a little constipated lately, and I think this might help.
I love it when they get it.
Jason, when I was young, I'd ride my bike without a helmet to the lake and swim. No lifeguard, no adults, and my mom would come and get me and my bike, and she'd drive me home without wearing a seatbelt. Happy to be here to tell you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not one of these. Look, part of why I think this opinion of mine is so valuable is that it's different from my normal approach, which is I'm very much in favor of new evidence, new learning, improving. I'm not a big, like, well, we used to do it this way. Like, that's not my bet.
Instead of evolving in this particular instance, you want us to devolve.
Correct. Jason, I'm a certified pool operator, so I completely understand the seriousness of an E. coli fecal incident in a commercial swimming pool. I used to be a swimming pool manager, and we would evacuate the pool often because of a little kind of whoopsie doopsie by somebody. And I would make the announcement in English and in Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah. Telling people to leave the pool and please go swimming in a swimsuit, not in your underwear.
So at that, had you not developed that opinion at this opinion at that time?
No.
Or
there's different science. A commercial swimming pool is very different from a lake because lakes are big. And
so you're thinking the bird poop should be less concentrated
That's
and
right.
therefore less of a problem.
And the certified pool operator continues, I'm inclined to agree with you.
Ooh.
That in a lake, unless the levels are significantly high, you can exercise some care and still safely swim in a lake. Huh? Now, another texter. Now, if you disagree with me, that's why it's an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong, but just know, like inside, I'm thinking that. Jason, I want to comment. I mean, it's fair to give equal time. I want to comment on the comment you made about those little libraries. They are very important to have around in the community. There are many who cannot afford to buy books. I was shocked at your statement about them. I agree. There are many who cannot afford to buy books, which is why I think it's so wonderful
that we have libraries.
Yeah, why would you want a little free library on a stick in your front yard other than to tell your neighbors how good you are? How good you are.
What if people have trouble getting to the library and here's something that's right next door?
I will bring you a book. No, I won't. That's not true. I'm not going to do that.
I really hope Julian Excelsior is joking. I'm really hoping that this is a bit.
Julie says this topic is crap. Move on. That's very good.
That's very good. Well done.
Julie's not wrong. Your unpopular opinion is about the cycle. In the news today, I think my unpopular. Quickly give your.
Well, it's just that. Look,
we've talked about this.
If you're a baseball player and you get 4 hits in one game, that's a really good game.
It's good.
Right?
We're happy.
But for some reason, if you hit a single, a double, a triple, and a home run in the same game, simply because it doesn't happen terribly often in that counting kind of statistical way, we turn it into you've just hit 700 home runs and you're the greatest baseball player ever, and we just all freak out. When really, it's kind of just a random thing. It's because we can count to 4. We've decided somehow that this is like an achievement where nobody ever actually goes into a baseball game thinking, you know what I'd really like to do? I'd like to hit for the cycle today. No, you want to get as many hits as you can. And if they're doubles and triples and home runs, it's better than singles.
True.
But if we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, we all lose our minds.
Neat. It's just numbers. It's just a silly pattern.
Silly. Exactly what it is.
UGel's most unpopular opinion on YouTube. I think grown men wearing shorts in public look ridiculous. I think it's probably true. I sometimes wear shorts, but I don't love it. I feel like it doesn't look as polished as like wearing pants.
I don't like wearing shorts like to work for sure. But, if you're just around going for a walk around in public, I don't think that's any big deal. Now, sweatpants, that's a different thing.
I think my today most unpopular opinion is that Mary Moriarty, the reaction to her has almost nothing to do with anything that she's actually done as the Hennepin County prosecutor. And while the idea that electing a public defender to be the chief prosecutor, to me, on its face, was ridiculous, I will say that they have put into effect a number of policies that actually are trying to make a difference with juvenile crime instead of crying and whining about how there's nothing they can do about it. And I do think our police department has largely blamed the prosecutor's office for the fact that there's nothing, they have little choice or little way to prosecute young people. And I think we got a lot of people pointing fingers at each other, and what we really have is a lack of commitment in our community to have a acceptable holding facility where we can actually put kids who are a danger to the community and who are endangering others. And is that the prosecutor's fault? No. Where are we supposed to put these 11 and 12-year-olds who are stealing cars. Already the feds are saying that we're holding kids illegally as it is. So my unpopular opinion is I think Mary Moriarty has been unfairly sort of given the shaft by people. Sort of a lazy take, I think. She's the worst. She's exactly what people elected, and I think today, if she were to run again, she would get reelected. I do. I'm not saying she should. I'm just saying I think she would. 432. DeRusha Eats. This is going to be a popular one. There's a Minnesota Twins pitcher that we all celebrated that he did not get traded away. He is still in town, and he, right after the trade deadline, what does Joe Ryan do? He's created a smoothie with a local restaurant. We'll talk about that in just a minute here on Drive Time.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Why is the corn dog stand always closest to the exit? Who really controls the daily parade route? And how deep does the butter sculpture ring go? This year, News Talk 830 WCCO is blowing the lid off the biggest cover-up in Minnesota history, the Deep State Fair. We'll be live every day uncovering the hidden truths fairgoers were never meant to hear. Join WCCO at the Minnesota State Fair. The truth is out there, probably near the dairy barn.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Do you know what the scariest sound to hear on a factory floor is? Silence. That means something somewhere broke. Production has stopped, and now you're paying your workers to wait while the team troubleshoots and tries to fix the problem. Finally, there's a proactive way to reduce equipment downtime, thanks to MaintainX. MaintainX is the asset management system that brings your maintenance downtime to zero. MaintainX lets you build preventative maintenance schedules, manage work orders in real time, and access the data you need to make better decisions. Downtime equals death in the production world, so make unplanned downtime a thing of the past. Try MaintainX for free. Control the daily operations of your business and transform your maintenance program by going to maintainx.com. That's maintain in the letter X.com.
You can do this. Why? Because no one cares more about your money than you. Right now, many have concerns about their retirement, their investments. Are these mutual funds a poor investment? Did you know that with the average fees of 2%, you could be missing out on upwards of half of your potential retirement dollars? That's pretty high for management, especially when 75% of these funds underperform the market. At Trading Academy, our mission is to empower you to take control of your investments. Text investing to 210-210. Take control of your financial future. Maybe it's to just have a better conversation with your broker. Sign up for a free investing class, local classrooms, one-on-one mentoring, how to protect your investments against inflation. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
And for west on the ramp to 101 northbound out in Rogers, we had a stalled truck blocking the right lane. That is cleared out, but the damage done traffic-wise, it is jammed up with the slowdown
for us. We have a
back
couple
in Center lane.
Yeah.
Northbound's jammed up. Highway 7 to County Road 6. East 36 is ready for a slowdown there from 35 W to 35E. And 494 northbound watching some slowdowns there as make way through Woodgate, heading up into Oakdale. Jerry Peterson, News Talk.
My first brand deal.
Jordana Green here.
Do
I'm
they?
you and your family are
Oh,
always
man,
safe.
like a
If there's
little
ever a time where you need an advocate after an accident, let Mike Bryant of Bradshaw
Yeah.
and Bryant help you. He
Yeah, we
will
did
work
that.
with and for you in dealing with the insurance company. Call 800-770-7008 today. Bradshaw and Bryant, seeking justice for the injured.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Forecast brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys. Here's Chris Schaefer.
Showers and thunderstorms possible overnight, mainly across northern Minnesota. We could get clipped in the morning. It's heat tomorrow, 91 for the high, partly cloudy, very humid, and a bit breezy. National Weather Service does have a heat advisory in play from noon till 10 p.m. Could feel like 100 degrees. Make sure you stay hydrated and take it easy tomorrow.
It is humid out there right now, 87 degrees. With the humidity, it does feel like it's 90 here on CCO.
Jason DeRusha.
I can ignore your kid crying on a plane the same way I ignored my kids crying. It is not that difficult. And if my kids are listening, they're like, yeah.
Oh, come on. Your kids don't listen.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
DeRusha, he has the eats. Nobody brings you the Twin Cities restaurant scene like your favorite foodie. Now, Jason explores some of the great chefs, owners, and stories right in our own backyard. Drive Time now transitions into DeRusha Eats.
DeRusha Eats brought to you by the Minnesota Pork Board. And today, an off day for the Minnesota Twins, but it was an on morning for one of the Twins' star pitchers, ace pitcher Joe Ryan, behind the counter at a Northeast Minneapolis restaurant, serving up his smoothie. Kamal Muhammad is with us, the owner of Parcelle. Kamal, it's always good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me, Jason. This is it's always great to be back.
Parcelle Organics is terrific. It has been very successful, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been great. We opened last year, January, and it's just been crazy since then. And
well, you've gone viral repeatedly, and on my TikTok feed, I'm always seeing people with the Parcelle, where they call it the Erewhon dupe, which is like an LA kind of organic, fancy pants Whole Foods.
Yeah, you know, I lived out there for about 8 years between San Francisco and LA, and every corner had, a smoothie shop, a panini, organic, whatever. And moving back here in Northeast, I look around and I see all these big brands, but there was nothing, nothing healthy or organic. Everything was just felt like it was off of a Cisco truck. So, after a few years of convincing that landlord to let us take over that corner, and serving just a very particular type of organic food, we, even in that smoothie, the almond milk you're drinking, we make that in house. We don't buy the almond milk from the store. We crush the almonds and soak them in water and give you,
you can taste it too.
Yeah, so everything is really fresh. So if you have any, any dietary restrictions, that's a good store. And so since we opened, we've had a lot of athletes naturally come in on their own of different levels, from St. Thomas to the U of M, and then some WNBA players. And then Joe Ryan just happened to be, he would come in from time to time, and we just started talking naturally, and then decided to, do a product together. So this wasn't like us reaching out to an athlete for a sponsorship thing. This was just something that came about organically.
Joe would bike over, and then you guys were talking, and you decided to create the Field of Dreams, right?
Yeah. So we did a playoff words. So it's Field of Greens. It has kale, pineapple, a little bit of maple syrup, avocado, this blueberry, organic blueberry sauce that we make in house. So, a little bit of peanut butter. It feels like you're drinking, you don't even know there's a cup of kale, so you're getting your day's worth of greens in this smoothie that is just, feels like you went to Dairy Queen for.
We actually had one of our friends talk to Joe as he was this morning. And if you're watching on the stream, you're seeing video of Joe as he was like serving it up this morning. Today was the official launch, right?
Yes, it was.
He is beaming. Like he looks so happy to be serving that up.
Yeah, he's a natural behind the kitchen too. He's so we're excited to have him. I know he's been busy these past few weeks, so we're excited to have him in house.
All right, here's a little bit of Joe Ryan. I think the first one, Dan, he's talking about, I don't remember. Hit the thing.
Before I had the field of greens on the menu, I would come in and get the blueprint every time. I had to check and make sure like the protein was clean and that we could take it we have pretty strict drug testing and stuff. And so whenever you go to smoothie places, you're always kind of a little bit worried. And I always opt for no protein just because it's not worth the risk. So they were super helpful and brought back the protein they use and showed me, and it's nutrition facts, so it's not even a supplement, so you're not really worried about that side of it. And I think just their openness with the ingredients made it really easy to come in and just order that smoothie every time and feel good about it. So
I thought that was so interesting, Kamal, because I did not realize how sort of potentially dangerous it is for an athlete to end up inadvertently having a banned substance. Because of the protein, the various proteins.
I mean, imagine the protein shake you buy at your local grocery store at home. It's fine for you to be on the radio, but you're telling me that 23-year-old can't go out there and pitch because he got a little bit of extra whatever's in there.
Because that like shows up as a masking agent for something else. Like there's a reason for it, but it's sort of crazy to think about. Right?
Yeah, and so luckily with ours, it's just 100%. It has one ingredient in there, and it was just 100% grass-fed protein, not 90%. And so after that, he was like, "Okay, I trust you guys. I'd come back here." And so he started bringing in his fiance in, and then so they've been fans and good advocates, and for being a tiny cafe in Northeast Minneapolis, it's a godsend.
Well, right, because you think about it, like what it would cost for somebody to do a collab with an athlete. You're a one-store, little, small, locally owned business.
Yeah, we couldn't afford him. We're not Nike,
right?
So it's not,
So what's the deal here? Like, is he doing this just for fun, or does he get like a piece of the action, or is there a charitable component, or how's this working?
we a little bit of all that. We do give him we're giving him some royalties on it, but again, it's nowhere close to what he would get with a Jeep or Grateful Dead or any of these other bigger brands. So it's pretty cool, and I think it just goes to show what type of athlete he is, being an all-star pitcher, an Olympian. Deciding to work with a smaller brand.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, that rarely happens.
We like Joe already, but when you hear that, you're like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, our staff too is like, oh, he just seems like a regular guy. He's easygoing. I'm like, yeah, I know, that's interesting, right? Because you mostly expect him to be like, all right, paparazzi, we're in and out, 30 minutes. And I was like, no, I'm chilling. I'll hang out with you guys. I'll make some smoothies and I'll be back the next day. So it's great to have that. Originally from California, but having somebody who's down to earth, it just I think Minnesota Twins did well with him, specifically with him. So
and that's probably, let's be honest, like that's part of the attraction for him. I'm sure it's the same story that you had, where like he's a California guy. You could go to Whole Foods, but like trying to find really what he was looking for.
Yeah,
there's just not a lot of it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And I think Minnesota, especially the Twin Cities, is trending that way. And, we're, I think being on the forefront of that, and you go out to eat, and you've been around the neighborhood. You can't get away with not having a burger on your menu. So for us trying to go the opposite direction and sort of picking our customer was a little bit of a risk, but it's panned out for us.
All right, one more soundbite from Joe Ryan where we asked how he came up with this particular smoothie.
Yeah, Kamal was brought up. We tried this matcha route. I wanted to do this like matcha cream smoothie initially, but looking at the menu now and seeing some other options, I think there's probably a spot for one in there still. But the one thing that he did really well is he came in and broke down like the benefits of matcha, where I think the calmness that you get from the caffeine boost, and one of those is L-theanine. So making sure to add some L-theanine in there just to have just a little bit more of a calm, soft focus throughout the day. And I've been putting maple syrup on everything forever, so having some of that in there has been nice and sweet, and a little Minnesota touch.
Parcelle Organics, right in Northeast Minneapolis. It's delicious. It's really tasty. I mean,
even tastes better when you get it right when it's made. This has been sitting out for a little bit, but yeah, it is already. I've drank it twice today. I haven't had anything else, so it is delicious. Come try it. And we're thankful for Joe Ryan, our all-star pitcher, for coming in and pitching the smoothie.
What's the ultimate goal? Do you see having maybe a couple more parcels? Is this a concept that has legs, you think? It's more than smoothies. You've got like clean breakfast, organic.
Yeah, we're looking at a downtown location. We actually did a walkthrough yesterday with the airport as well. A lot of our customers are telling us come to Wayzata, come to the North Loop. So we are looking at other locations. We want it to be as easy as getting a Jimmy John's or a Chipotle. I think being that brand that makes it super clean and easy for consumers is what makes us proud.
It's really good stuff. Kamal, one of the more innovative entrepreneurs we have in the Twin City. Go get it. I love it. Congratulations. And we love Joe Ryan, so I know Twins fans are. You never know when Joe might be there. He was there this morning.
Yep.
But sometimes he's got to work.
Absolutely. Jason, thank you so much. Thank you to the team at WCCO as well.
Our pleasure. Thanks, Kamal. It's called Parcelle. It is right by Surdix, like across the street from Surdix, right by Kramarchek and All Saints. Just a great little kind of center of food businesses right there in Northeast Minneapolis. 4:49. That was the Russian Eats, brought to you by the Minnesota Pork Board. In just a minute, your advice for a guy with a bad back. We'll do that next.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
BLT sandwich. That's what it was last night for the DeRushas. Oh, it was so good, man. Only time in my life that I get like plain white bread on a sandwich, because that's the correct answer when you're dealing with beautiful Minnesota pork, a great fresh ripe tomato. I went heirloom from Minnesota farmers. However you do it, invite Minnesota pork to be a part of your dinner table, your breakfast table. We know that bacon is just the beginning when it comes to pork. Taste what pork can do for you. Ground pork, I think, is one of the most underrated parts of that beautiful thing. Ground pork is so versatile. You can use it on salad. You can use it for tacos. We have done pork, sort of like pork burgers, like a pork patty. We patty it up, put it on the grill. Delicious. Whatever flavor profile you like, Minnesota Pork has a recipe idea for you. If you go to mnpork.com, click on Pork 101, you'll see all sorts of inspiration. But the best way to get inspired is by going to your butcher shop or going to your meat counter at your grocery store and tell them that you want to have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight.
Advantage Seamless Gutters is now Advantage Home Pros. New look, same pros. Still now taking care of all your gutter and roofing needs. Don't spend your weekends on a ladder cleaning your gutters when you could be spending time with family.
How much more, stepchild?
Just your local gutter pros, Advantage Home Pros. Now your local custom roofing pros. With the highest quality workmanship and materials, our trained local pros can handle it all. Trust pros.
The landlord wants to
Pros.com.
I'm at We're going to do cinnamon rolls and dedicated to serving people 50 and up
like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Just like what the number you see. And I learned that from the Savannah Banana.
$5 credit for auto pay.
Really? Yeah, I was listening to that guy talk, and he was like,
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. Apply now and save with no application fee. Plus to start August 13th. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can turn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor. Your prior learning.
Sort of do that.
12 credits towards the
I
master.
don't know. I think
Learn
so.
more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shell.
Yeah. And before, like the law and everything.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with the check of the commute.
I think
they find the slowdowns place 94 westbound and midway past 280. Crash up ahead near Franklin Avenue off to the right side.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah,
and now it's easy enough to program.
Jammed up Parkway Boulevard into the downtown stretch of Minneapolis.
I don't think.
35W, you got the slowdowns there. 92nd Street all the way down to Highway 13.
Yeah. But then you just increase your price.
I
know. Now, if it's just 12, it's just 3.
News Talk 830
Go online before you go outside. HilltopCamper.com has what you need. We're here for new and used. We're here for service. We're here for the outdoors. Above all, HilltopCamper.com is here to help you and your loved ones make memories. HilltopCamper.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, it's hot. It's hot today. It's going to be hotter tomorrow. And it's going to be hot on Saturday. Looks like the risk of rain in the Twin Cities tomorrow is lessening. So that's good news. Right now, it is still hot. 87 and humid on CCO.
Hear about it. Talk about it. Add your voice to the mix. The CCO Talk and Text line. 651-461-9226.
I don't know why I don't love talking about my back pain. I think it's because it makes me, I'm an energetic, active guy, and I don't like admitting that I can't as much. About 8 months ago, I finally got an MRI because my back hurt. It was how I celebrated my 50th birthday, getting an MRI.
Mazel tov.
And I did talk a little bit about that. I mean, I say I don't talk about it. I wrote a freaking article about it, so I guess I talked about it.
I mean, it's writing. That's not talking.
Yeah, it's fine. But like I was doing the stuff. So like the MRI said I had a degenerated disc.
Okay.
And they told me that everyone's discs degenerate over time. And some of us, we feel it. And some of us, we don't. And I'm one of the unlucky ones where the sort of little pad in between the bones is essentially gone. And so my back hurts. It doesn't hurt when I'm standing here. Although if you ask me, like, do I feel it all day? Yeah. Sort of, yes.
Yeah.
It's like
anybody with back pain knows exactly what you're talking about.
It's like a low grade 2.
Yep.
It's there. I don't think about it, so I don't notice it. If I try to pick something up, I notice it. If I try to get out of a chair or get out of a bed, it hurts. Today I finally go to a doctor who's like, well, you could get surgery. He's like, it takes about 6 weeks to recover.
It's like, not that you can't walk around in 6 weeks, but you can't walk distances.
Right. You got to just baby it a little bit.
And I'm like, well, I sort of want to suck it up. And also, I'm 50 and thinking of like every morning getting out of bed causing me pain for the next 30 years. Because, I'm probably dying around 80 if I make it.
That's
to
the plan?
80.
Okay.
Well, it's, I'm just saying, looking at the way I live my life. So I got prescribed like some strong acetaminophen, and I never take pain relievers.
No, you don't.
I cause pain in others. I do not like taking drugs. He told me, he's like, we do back surgeries. There are successful back surgeries, but you don't hear a ton of people like really excited about how their back surgery turned out. Right? Like that's sort of what I was thinking. Like, is anybody out there like, you know what? I had a back surgery and they fused two of my spinal bones together. And when it was done, woo! I feel great now. I'm not doing it. I don't know, man. Like, getting old sucks. It's not fun. Hey, it's better than the alternative. Don't text that. We know it is better than that. CBS News coming up, local news too, and the D-Rush Hour news headlines. Lots of good stuff as we continue.
Sir, these homeowners, they have major storm damage. Shouldn't we, pay their claims?
Pay them? Ha! They'll take what we give them. If anything, most of them don't even read the fine print.
But, sir, their roof collapsed.
Let them use buckets. Cheaper than us paying out. That's where Joe Brothers Construction comes in. They don't just fix storm damage. They fight the insurance company for you, so you get your roof back and your sanity. Joe Brothers Construction. Relief starts here. JOBE. JoeBrothersConstruction.com.
Attention, small business owners. Do you need funding for your business? At lendseek.com, we provide revenue-based working capital programs from $20,000 to $1 million. So whether it's funding for inventory, equipment, expansion, payroll, or other needs, seek no more. All it takes is just one simple application to access over 100 funding products that are powered through our breakthrough AI-enabled lending platform to get you the best options in today's marketplace. If you've been in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of at least $50,000, you could receive the business funding you need when it matters most, regardless of your personal credit score. Funds in your account in just 24 hours with no collateral, no prepayment penalties, and no restrictions on how you use the funds. There's no obligation and zero out-of-pocket costs. So apply for the business funding you need today at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Minnesota's #1 for the latest breaking news. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. It's unclear where the talks stand between Russia, Ukraine, and President Trump.
They would like to meet with me, and I'll do whatever I can to stop the killing.
Olivia Rinaldi has more from the White House.
President Trump said that Russian President Putin does not need to meet with President Zelensky before he meets with Putin. There was some reporting about that earlier today. The president said, no, I'm open to meeting with Putin regardless of a meeting with Zelensky. So this appears to be moving pretty quickly after Special Envoy Witkoff was in Moscow yesterday meeting with Putin. He came back and he told the White House that it was largely productive, that they felt like they were actually getting some concrete details about what's needed to bring this war to an end.
The administration is not commenting publicly on the Israeli prime minister's plans to widen the war in Gaza. CBS's Deborah Pattis sat down with the U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee.
We asked Ambassador Huckabee what the U.S. position was on potential plans being discussed by Prime Minister Netanyahu's cabinet to seize and occupy the whole of Gaza. He said that is a decision only Israel can make.
The FBI is forcing out more senior officials, as Michael Wallace reports.
Several top officials have been told tomorrow will be their last day at the Bureau. The list includes Brian Driscoll, who served as the FBI's acting director during the first few weeks of the Trump administration, as Kash Patel's nomination was pending. Driscoll was accused of insubordination after he refused to turn over the names of agents who were involved in the investigation into the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
Tariffs on dozens of countries took effect today, 10% and higher. Nancy Cortez reports businesses and consumers are bracing for higher prices.
The administration continues to insist that the upsides are going to outweigh everything, not only because of new tariff revenue coming into the U.S. Treasury, but also because this will create an incentive for businesses to bring their production back home to the United States, where they won't have to pay those tariffs.
The National Hurricane Center has updated its forecast for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. Meteorologist David Parkinson has a look at the new numbers.
Their range back in May was 13 to 19 named storms. We're looking at 13 to 18 now. For hurricanes, instead of 6 to 10, we're looking at 5 to 9.
The peak of the hurricane season isn't until September. The number of Americans filing for jobless benefits rose modestly last week. Employers are still holding on to workers despite economic uncertainty. On Wall Street, stocks finished mixed. The Dow was off 224 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly cloudy, still humid, 86 degrees at 5:03. I'm Laura Oakes. A not guilty plea from a prison orange-clad, thinner-looking Vance Boelter in federal court in Minneapolis today. He's the man charged in the early summer killings of State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark.
Citing a massive amount of evidence, including video footage and digital data, the prosecution asked for an extended deadline to go through it all. Boelter waived his right to a speedy trial. The judge did not set a trial start date or a deadline for determining if the death penalty will be applied in the case. Boelter is also still facing separate state charges. A motion hearing has been set for February 20th, 2026. Taylor Rivera, News Talk 830, WCCO.
A fatal shooting in front of a St. Paul neighborhood bar early this morning. Police arrested a 31-year-old St. Paul man outside the Midway Saloon near Snelling and University Avenues shortly after midnight. They say the victim was shot in the chest. No other information has been released. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty announcing she will not seek re-election next year, but instead will focus on creating enduring change in the system, she says, during the final months of her administration. Moriarty was elected in 2022, having previously served as the county's chief public defender. At least one possible candidate is already announcing interest in the seat. DFL State Representative Cedric Frazier says he is considering a run. Just in time for a hot weekend, several beaches around the metro area are closed due to high levels of bacteria, specifically E. coli. Rachel Crabb with Minneapolis Parks and Rec says the beginning of bird migration doesn't help.
Birds are already thinking about fall and winter. So there are some waterfowl that are actually going to start to migrate soon. When those waterfowl start to migrate, they like to go to the same places. They're concentrated. They are pooping in the water, so that can cause elevated bacteria too.
A bizarre accident on Interstate 35 north of the Twin Cities today. The Chisago County Sheriff's Office says a driver was hit by a stray bullet that went through his car door and hit him in the leg. After an extensive search by multiple deputies, officers, and drones, authorities discovered that the bullet came from more than 1,500 feet away where 3 men were target shooting. The 48-year-old Duluth man who was hit was transported to Regents Hospital with a non-life-threatening injury. 3 others in the car were not injured, and the 3 men who were target shooting are cooperating with law enforcement. If you're headed to the state fair in a few weeks, parking on neighborhood streets will cost you this year.
Earlier this year, the Falcon Heights City Council approved a 1-year contract with Park Mobile for roughly 800 to 1,000 spaces to charge $25 per spot. Those will be primarily in the northeast quadrant of Falcon Heights, roughly bounded by Snelling and Hamlin Avenues and Roselawn and Iowa Avenues. City Administrator Jack Linehan.
Usually if you go 2 blocks over, you have to pay anywhere, especially if it's like private lawn parking in St. Paul or private business parking, more like $50 a spot. So people will be really willing to drive around hunting for spots. And so our hope is to kind of right size the demand.
The Great Minnesota Get Together starts August 21st. Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And WCCO News Time is 5:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Crash has been cleared out of the way. West 94 near Franklin Avenue. Still some slowing though. 280 heading into Minneapolis. 394 eastbound remains jammed up. Park Place Boulevard into downtown as well. Traveling 694, watching your slowdowns there between Lexington and Highway 252. 494 northbound as you make way toward I-94. Crash to be on the lookout for as you make way through Woodbury. Watching the slowdown south 169 as you move between 494 and Old Shakopee Road. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRusha here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by the Canopy Group. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
A line of showers and thunderstorms will race across the state while we sleep tonight, only cooling back to 74. We could see some of that shower activity in the morning. Then it's all about the heat. Partly cloudy with a high of 91, a humid day, a breezy day, and a heat advisory in play from noon until 10 p.m. because it could feel up to 100 degrees. Saturday, some showers and thunderstorms are possible early. Should be dry for much of the day. A high of 85, but still humid.
Right now, it's mostly cloudy, 86. That dew point up there at 72, making it feel like 92 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Because knowing what's going on shouldn't require 17 different apps. News Talk 830 WCCO. He knows news. He knows talk. He knows nonsense too. So get ready for a lot of each. This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Once again, here's Jason DeRusha.
Well, I'm not asking for an award, but Dan and I are putting in a full 3 hours today. I'm just saying it doesn't happen that often. If I were given an award, like I would accept, I would accept it for sure. Welcome to Drive Time. It is our third hour. If you are enjoying us on YouTube, we thank you. There's always a great discussion group happening at the WCCO Radio YouTube channel. We got UGel with us back after a little staycation. Jonathan there as well, and a cast of others who have popped in and out. So we always appreciate that. Nice conversation as we watched all of it. So you can chat with us if you want. So pretty good stuff. It is time for the D-Rush Hour news headlines.
The headlines you might have missed without missing a beat. This is your fast pass through the biggest and most impactful stories of the day. Welcome to the DeRush Hour, starting with the lead.
Big story that we begin with is news that Mary Moriarty, the Hennepin County attorney who has been controversial, who has been lumped in with other progressive county attorneys throughout the United States, has decided that she will be a one-term and done candidate. She has taken intense criticism, some from law enforcement, saying that she's not tough enough on criminals, that she's more concerned about freeing people than locking bad people up. I would posit that maybe freeing innocent people is a good thing. And locking people up, well, yeah, I would like to see a more aggressive approach in that as well. Today, Mary Moriarty has done a couple of interviews, including one with Fox 9 that underscores some of the lack of cooperation and some of the frustration with the finger pointing, at least from Moriarty's perspective, where she is, well, let's just listen in her words.
Where I would say my frustration comes in is that there are many unhelpful narratives out there. And I know you've heard them, and I know you've interviewed the chief. And sometimes he tends to talk about a revolving door, claiming that we don't charge kids and that kind of thing. And I think that's very unhelpful and not true. And it's one of those narratives I talked about in my video and when I interviewed with Strib. We need to have candid conversations about what's actually happening in the system. And that doesn't mean we're pointing fingers. It means we need to identify the gaps in the system. So let's give car theft as an example. In 2023, I think we had about 7,500 car thefts in Minneapolis. The Minneapolis police were able to bring us for potential charging less than 2% of those cases, so less than 200. We know, or research says, deterrence is really about the certainty of being caught. Deterrence is actually not about long sentences or sentences. It is about whether you think you're going to get caught. So if you are somebody stealing cars and you know the certainty of getting caught is less than 2%, there's absolutely no deterrence there.
One of the questions that Amy Hockert asked was about the relationship that Mary Moriarty has with the chief of police, Brian O'Hara. And Mary Moriarty said, he won't return my calls. Let's bring in Abou Amara, who is a political analyst. He's a lawyer. He's a Democrat. And when you look at all of this, Abou, first of all, I believe that if Mary Moriarty ran again, she would have a pretty good chance of winning, because what she has done is what I think a lot of Democrats, especially in Minneapolis, have been asking for, which is more of a social justice, community first, maybe. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but I feel like she's done exactly what she said she was going to do.
In some respects, I agree with that. I think she ran on a platform of pretty massive scale change. I would say, though, I think where we are in this moment is fundamentally different than where we were 4 years ago. So zoom back 4 years ago, we were just coming out of the aftermath of George Floyd's killing and a reckoning around policing and community affairs. And so there was an energy behind criminal justice reform, prosecutorial reform. And I think that's a different moment than where we are now. Now, I think we're in this position, both psychologically and reality, of still folks having real concerns about safety in communities. And so, although she delivered on many of her promises, I think it's not a question of whether she did what she said she was going to do. It's a question of, is this the direction we want to keep going in Hennepin County?
Do you think she has a point when she's saying, look, I'm getting hammered for not doing enough on juvenile crime, but as a community, we don't really have a lot of answers as to A, why aren't the police bringing me more cases? And B, what are we supposed to do with these 10, 11, and 12-year-olds once we do have them in the system?
You know, pointing out that issue, I think, reflects the fact that people want communication about why these things aren't happening, right? So it may be true that she doesn't have as many tools at her disposal to address some of those issues, but then you need to communicate that to the public so they understand why certain things aren't happening. And I think one of the major critiques of Mary Moriarty over the past couple of years has been not so much that she doesn't know what she's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing. It's that there hasn't been sufficient communication about why things aren't happening in certain areas. And I think that is the main critique of Mary Moriarty. It's not so much she doesn't know what she's doing. It's that there's not enough communication. There's not enough engagement around some of those issues over the past 4 years.
Is there a fundamental disconnect in electing somebody who spent their life as a defender to be the chief prosecutor? Is that just a bridge that is too far, really, for people to cross?
Look, I don't want to say, never can a defense lawyer be a prosecutor, but I will say this. I mean, if this was the Vikings and we had a quarterback, we wouldn't be saying, let's play our middle linebacker at quarterback. There are fundamentally different roles we have in our adversarial system. And you can have a great criminal defense lawyer, and that's an important role in our society in defending the Constitution. But it's also important to have a prosecutorial mindset with a county prosecutor, right? And so I do think they're both important roles. I think they're critically different roles. And whoever serves in that position has to have the mindset of a prosecutor and not of a defense lawyer.
I 1,000% agree with that. Very good. Abou Amara, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks for always having me.
All right. Next up in the lead is a story that on its face sounded like bad news. An increase in the number of colon cancer cases, a significant increase in the number of colon cancer cases found in 45 to 49-year-olds. However, this is, in fact, an amazing success story because it coincides with an increase in screening. You may know, you may not know that the age for colon cancer for that first colonoscopy screening, the recommended age is now 45. Dr. Scott Ketover, the president and CEO of Minji Digestive Health, is with us. It is where I got my colonoscopy. So we visit with Dr. Ketover because on the face, this feels like bad news, but in fact, this is really good news, Scott.
I think the good news is that we're finding it in younger people at a stage when we can interact in a way that's more productive and decreases the amount of problems that patients have in terms of morbidity and mortality from colon cancer. So we're finding it at earlier stages.
Yeah, one of the data points in this new research from the American Cancer Society found that the number of screenings from those 45 to 49-year-olds is up 62% from 2019 to 2023, which to me is sort of an amazing compliance rate, right? Because we know that for years the date was 50, and to move it back to 45, I guess you didn't really know if people were going to do it or not.
That's true. When the recommendation came out to move the screening age back to 45, we didn't know what the impact was going to be. So the good news is that it's worked in everybody's favor.
Are these numbers similar to what you're seeing at Minji Digestive Health, sort of a similar kind of explosion in people in that kind of late 40s? I know I was one who went over to your place and got my colonoscopy before I turned 50 because my doctor said to do it.
Yeah, we are. It's much more available in terms of the discussion that patients are having with their primary care providers or reading about in the lay press. I also think there may be a phenomenon that those who are in their fifth decade of life are maybe looking back on their previous 20 years and reassessing sort of in midlife, what are the decisions they made 20 years ago that they would make differently today and how that impacts their moving ahead in their future. And so I think they're more planful in what to do with their health. And we are seeing that materialize in more screenings for younger people.
Dr. Scott Ketover is the president and CEO of Minji Digestive Health. Colonoscopies are a little different than some other types of early screenings in that you can actually take action while you're doing the screening. Can you explain that? Because I think that's sort of the difference maker when you think about getting that early screening.
Yes, absolutely. So there's lots of screening tests out there for colon cancer, but colonoscopy is the only test that can prevent someone from developing a colon cancer. So with all the other screening modalities, what we're really looking for is a marker that they might have something that needs further investigation.
Sure.
When you have a colonoscopy, it gives us the opportunity to find precancerous lesions and remove them in a very simple fashion long before they have an impact on one's health. And that's why we say colonoscopy is really the only screening test that can prevent colon cancer. And that's why we stand on the recommendation that it's really the gold standard
for colorectal cancer screening.
I mean, you're probably seeing this every day at your locations, right? People in their late 40s that get a benign polyp removed, and you think, man, this maybe prevents something from getting worse and something potentially being deadly.
Absolutely. And what's exciting to us is because in that younger cohort in their 40s, is the percentage of patients that we're seeing that already have colon polyps, that when we remove those polyps and we look at them microscopically, they are precancerous. What we don't truly know is, would those lesions become cancers sooner than if we had found them 5 years later? So our goal is to find things in patients early so that we can impact in a way that prevents them from having illness going forward.
Pretty cool. Scott Ketover, the president and CEO of Minji Digestive Health. It's a good start for sure. Long way to go, but a good start here. Thanks, Scott.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And that is page one. The lead is coming up next. Excessive screen time. But just yesterday, weren't we saying it's not that bad? Today, well, today it's bad. Our state fair is ranked what? And the Gunflint Lodge has a birthday.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Well, we're talking about screenings and checkups. I want you to stop neglecting your skin. It's Jason here for the skin experts at Tureen Dermatology. Dr. Mohiba Tureen is my dermatologist. I love Dr. Tureen. She is amazing. Tureen Dermatology has 25 board-certified providers at 9 different locations all over town. What does that mean for you? Well, first of all, a ton of people want to work for Dr. Tureen because she is awesome. She is awesome. Second, it means that you're going to get an appointment when you need it. Getting an appointment with a dermatologist is challenging. In Lakeville, where Tureen Dermatology just opened up, they told me that the average wait time before Tureen opened up for a new dermatology appointment was 6 months. 6 months. Tureen guarantees they will get you in 3 weeks. That is quick service, but you're going to be even happier with the quality of service once you get there. Full body skin checkup, eczema, acne. Don't put it off and don't deal with any of it. Go see Tureen Dermatology. TAREEN dermatology.com. You can book an appointment right on their website. Don't wait. Go to Tureen Dermatology today.
Sometimes you just need a good sandwich, And other times you want a soothing soup to go along with that sandwich. That's where Herbert and Gerbert's comes in. Bread made daily, fresh ingredients, always. And let's not forget a selection of hearty soups, chili, and mac and cheese. Try our take on the Flash, an Italian classic, or go full hipster with the Narmer's avocado and turkey. Get your sandwich fix with all the fixings. Order online at herbertandgerberts.com.
So many of us look around our house and say it is time to downsize. That's exactly what Susan and Kevin Borowick did. They join us now. I want to ask you about the process of working with the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, and your agent, Kieran Evanson.
Well, it was just extremely smooth. We sat down, he did a market analysis for us so we could really develop a good pricing strategy. He sent out a staging consultant who helped us get things ready for showing. We just couldn't be happier. We received an offer, actually more than one offer, quite a bit over our asking price.
That's part of the whole Schuster Group difference, is that their marketing programs really target the right buyers. Did you feel that when they were going through the process with you?
Absolutely.
If someone is on the fence about hiring the Schuster Group, what would you tell them?
They greatly exceeded our expectations, and I would say you just cannot go wrong working with the Schuster Group.
Contact John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, 952-222-9000, online, johnschustergroup.com. Terms and conditions may apply.
When my business was taking off, our old phone system just wasn't cutting it. We needed fewer missed calls, more flexibility, and better visibility into customer conversations. That's when I found OpenPhone.
OpenPhone is the all-in-one system for small businesses and growing teams. Manage multiple numbers from one device, work seamlessly as a team with shared numbers, and stay organized with AI-powered call transcripts, summaries, and next steps, so nothing gets missed and your team responds faster. OpenPhone integrates with tools you already use, like Slack, HubSpot, and Zapier, so everything's connected and efficient.
Having tried just about every relevant small business phone system, Open Phone is truly in a league of its own. It's now essential to how we run our business, and I couldn't be happier with the value it brings.
See why over 60,000 businesses trust OpenPhone. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Get the kids away from the screens because excessive screen time is being linked to heart problems in young people.
Screens are fun, but not all day. Time to stop and run and play. Play a game, then have a rest.
How did you find
Playing outside is always best.
I'm a really good producer, Jason.
That is, how much screen time did you put in today to find this?
Surprisingly little.
All right. You just Googled.
There's
all right. I don't want all the
methods.
secrets.
A good magician never reveals his tricks.
So
right?
most of the jibber jabber about screen time is that it's a mental health concern, right? Now, the Journal of the American Heart Association is saying 10 to 18-year-olds who spent more time on devices, which, it includes all the stuff, phones, TVs, computers, gaming consoles, are at higher risk for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, insulin resistance. And this research was done in, these were Danish studies. And so here's the problem. You got all these people eating Danishes, and you're like, well, no wonder it's messed up. Did I read this wrong?
No, I think you're spot on.
So they took these studies at the Danish shops and talked to 1,000 participants. And they said, well, put down your computer, eat your Danish. No. So if this is true in Denmark, obviously it's true here. Now, I would say, is the villain screen time, or is the villain that there are only so many hours in a day? And if you are spending more time on a screen, you're walking around less, you're playing less, like it's sort of obvious, right? But one of the bigger things that I didn't think of is sleep. So what kids are doing is substituting screen for sleep, and less sleep and later bedtime amplifies the issue. So screen time, maybe the biggest villain, is that you're stealing time from sleep, and sleep is important to all of us, but maybe no more important to that very young age, which I thought was quite interesting and surprising. I hadn't thought about that. Our state fair is the best state fair.
Our state fair is a great state fair. Don't miss it, don't even be late. It's scholars who show us.
All right, so Wisconsin. Now, people who listen to this show and live in Wisconsin, they don't go to the Wisconsin State Fair. I used to go to the Wisconsin State Fair when I lived in the Chicago area because it was in Wauwatosa near, West Allis, technically, but West Allis, right near downtown Milwaukee. Wisconsin State Fair is the number 3 state fair in the USA Today 10 best ranking. Now, how do they do the rankings? Who cares? Because we're number 1, right? Dan,
so it must be scientific.
Do you care if we're number 1? Do you care what the metric is?
No. As long as they get to the right answer, what do I care?
Yeah, you don't want the methodology. Yeah. Who gives a rip?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Number 2, state fair. It's not Texas. It's
Iowa.
I think that makes sense.
Sure.
Iowa State Fair.
Texas cheats anyway because they have it for like a month and a half.
That's exactly right. Everything's bigger in Texas. Yeah, if it's a month and a half, give me a break. Iowa State Fair was the inspiration for a Broadway musical, for the book State Fair, all of that stuff. But who's number 1, baby? 320 acres from late August to Labor Day. Our state fair is the best state fair. That is the D-Rush Hour news headlines on this Thursday. The biggest story in the state is always the Minnesota Vikings. It just is. And we get our first preseason game on Saturday. Alec Lewis is going to join us. He's at TCO training camp today, so we'll see what we need to know to get ready for the first preseason game coming up.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO. It's August, so naturally there's nothing going on.
Are you better off financially now than when Donald Trump was inaugurated in January?
No news, no sports, no hot takes.
Land of 10,000 fraudsters. Why were there not systems in place?
Come on, it's absolutely nothing month, right? Good thing we didn't get the memo.
What is the goal of prison? Is it merely to punish, or is it to rehabilitate?
News doesn't take the month off. Neither do we. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Americans may not agree on much, but we agree on Social Security. We all pay in. It ought to be there when we need it. Social Security could face a funding gap in less than a decade, and I don't want to see a pay cut. I'm with AARP in the fight to protect the Social Security we earn.
Pledge to protect Social Security at aarp.org/weearnedit. That's aarp.org/weearnedit. Paid for by AARP.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Imagine placing an investment or trade without fear. Knowing that big institutions have taken the same trade as you, pushing the price higher, which only they can do. You get to ride the wave of institutional demand. If not, your plan will protect you from the downside. This is how our students are taught to invest in trade. Right now, you can sign up for a free investing class where we'll outline our strategy for following the smart money. Text investing to 210-210. We'll also review strategies for growing a retirement portfolio, how professionals profit when stocks are falling, and how to protect your investments against inflation. With a 25-year history, local classrooms, and one-on-one support, you're not alone. And now it's your turn. Sign up for a free investing class today. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
Do you know what the scariest sound to hear on a factory floor is? Silence. That means something somewhere broke. Production has stopped, and now you're paying your workers to wait while the team troubleshoots and tries to fix the problem. Finally, there's a proactive way to reduce equipment downtime. Thanks to MaintainX. MaintainX is the asset management system that brings your maintenance downtime to zero. MaintainX lets you build preventative maintenance schedules, manage work orders in real time, and access the data you need to make better decisions. Downtime equals death in the production world, so make unplanned downtime a thing of the past. Try MaintainX for free. Control the daily operations of your business and transform your maintenance program by going to maintainx.com. That's maintain in the letter X.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-311-9595. That's 800-311-9595.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
212 jammed up both directions. No big surprise there. Eden Prairie Road and 494. If you're traveling Cedar South, that's jammed up. 494 heading down to Highway 13. The crosstown is slow both directions between Gleason and Cedar Avenue. And eastbound 394, that's a slow ride. Park Place Boulevard into Minneapolis. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Clogged gutters? Call the pros. Advantage Home Pros. With the highest quality workmanship and materials, seamless gutter installation, cleaning, and covers, our trained, knowledgeable local pros can handle it all. Trust the pros. AdvantageHomePros.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, forecast is brought to you by Advantage Home Pros. Experience the advantage at AdvantageHomePros.com. Here is the Weather Pro, Chris Schaefer.
Showers and thunderstorms possible overnight, mainly across northern Minnesota. We could get clipped in the morning. It's heat tomorrow, 91 for the high, partly cloudy, very humid, and a bit breezy. National Weather Service does have a heat advisory in play from noon till 10 p.m. Could feel like 100 degrees. Make sure you stay hydrated and take it easy tomorrow.
Thank goodness for the advisory. How would we know it was hot? Thank you, Weather Service. Right now, it's a mere 87. No advisory for that on CC.
Jason DeRusha.
If I'm having a bad day, I will pull up and I am ready to go.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, Vikings get it going for sort of real this weekend. Are we ready? Are we ready? I think so. Minnesota's always ready for Viking season. This year, I feel like there's maybe a little more intrigue than normal because we don't quite know what we're going to get with our new quarterback. Alec Lewis are you still out there at training camp? You were at training camp today.
Yeah, I put on deodorant this morning, but by standing out there for multiple hours, it's subsided. I'm sitting here. I told Dan I'm trying to write a story. The words aren't coming. I got to record a podcast, and we are ready for Vikings football. This is a good time.
Is it for you, for a writer, is it fun, these sort of longer, thoughtful pieces that you do when you're sort of making it up? Like, we're kind of making it up right now, right? Like, until you play the first down, we don't know what any of this is going to happen.
Yeah, I'd say it goes both ways. There's part of me that is just pumped to be back. Around a group of people that have got to know as well as I have and get to spend time with them every day and get to watch football, this game that I love, to get to do this job that I wanted to do when I was 15 years old. So there's that part of me. And then there's also the part of me where it is, it's just like, what am I seeing that actually matters? I was telling somebody earlier, I went back and read a story that I wrote from last training camp in Cleveland during joint practices where Sam Darnold in the offense looked miserable. And if you went back and read it, you'd think, man, that Vikings team, they must have lost 15 games. Well, no, as a matter of fact, they did not. They won 14 games. And so it's just that balance of just trying to calibrate how much of what I'm seeing is actually important, and yet also knowing you got to feed the beast. It's one of those that's the challenge, but that's the job.
That's what it is. So you do have a podcast called The Alec Lewis Show, and people can read you in The Athletic. And I want to talk to you about really this fantastic and incredibly geeky story that you did, breaking down the trickery and the creativity and the magic of Brian Flores' defense. But as you get ready to record your podcast now, I know you're doing like Q&A from Vikings fans. Are most of the questions about J.J. McCarthy, or what are the hardcore fans really asking you about?
Oh yeah, it's J.J. McCarthy. How's he looking? Should we be gravely concerned? Do we think we're going to the Super Bowl? Which of those sides of the aisle do I land on it? And to give you a sneak peek, the answer is this: J.J. McCarthy, and he would probably tell you this exact same thing throughout training camp since we started. it's been up and down. There haven't been amazing highs. There haven't been just such discouraging lows. It's been a lot of in the middle, some good, some bad. Not that surprising for a 22-year-old coming back from a torn meniscus without Justin Jefferson and with an offensive line that is still kind of getting back against the defense with a front seven that is beyond what the Vikings have had in recent years. So that's where things start. But it was fun to nerd out over the defense, that's for sure.
So let's talk about this, because the Vikings defense, and you've gotten a lot of buzz for this story, deservedly so, because I think it's so detailed. It really gets into the trickery. But I, of course, was more captivated by the human side of this and the way that Brian Flores sort of convenes this defense think tank. Because I got to be honest, I think the way that football players are portrayed, generally speaking, is that these guys aren't necessarily the Mensa captains of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely right. And that's where, I mean, part of this story, and I wrote it with one of our staff writers, Ted Nguyen, who is, talk to anybody in the business about as good of a film analysis person as there is. And really, like, I got with Ted, and I'm like, look, you know this stuff at a level that I hope to one day, but I probably never will. And I like writing words that are big, and that's just how I am. So what if we collabed on Brian Flores' defense, which has had a great training camp and has been really good in recent years, and we kind of centered on, I mean, it's a story about Brian Flores, but you're exactly right. And the most interesting aspect to me is, like, I don't think enough credit is given to these players on this defense specifically for their mental bandwidth to be able to handle all that they handle before game day, and then on game day, their ability to adapt on the fly. Like, it is a mental challenge as much as anything else. When you are disguising and moving on the front and playing 7 different coverages, like, you have to know all of that and be able to react in a 40-second span to show it in real time. So it's the whole thing. It's pretty fascinating. But I'm glad you said that, because I generally just don't think we put enough into the, like, mental stress and preparation that goes into this thing every weekend.
Because what's happening, and for a casual fan, and you'll hear sometimes if you're watching a game or if you're listening on the radio, you'll hear conversation about, like, oh, like, this defense is always, there's a lot of trickery. But so what that means, you sort of lay it out where you'll set up and you'll line up in something that looks like a man-to-man, and then there's sort of a change. Like, right after the snap, you kind of, then you go into a certain type of zone, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then they know what they've shown in the past and changed into in the past. And so this time, when you think they're going to change into something, they change into something totally something else. So Brian Flores said, my favorite quote in this story, he said, "We've built a reputation on disguise. So what they see, they don't think it is what it is. And sometimes what they see is what it is. And sometimes the disguise, I mean, he just, this quote is him kind of probably messing with defensive coordinators who might read this, or offensive coordinators trying to read this to find some kind of tells. And it is as nitty gritty as not just like where they line up and where they finish, but how their shoulders positioned as they line up compared to what another snap. It's that level of
I was
detail,
shocked. That blew me away, Alec. I was shocked at how sort of seemingly minor some of these adjustments are, right? But it works because every player, these players today, the way the analytics that are out there, the data, the tape, the isolation, these guys have way more information than any player had 10 years ago, right? So
it's unbelievable.
So if you're gonna disguise, it's 10 times the work, and you need the players to go with you. I was impressed also. It's sort of the sessions where players throw out ideas, and you think like, wow, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, absolutely. The funny thing is, and I'm just thinking about this as we're talking, like, this story is building up their disguising strategies. And part of me wonders if with the personnel they've added specific on the front, like maybe they just, now Brian Flores is never just going to shut it all off because that's just not how his brain works. But the thing about it is they have built this defense now with money that they have because they have a quarterback on a rookie contract. Yeah. They have built this defense to where the talent specifically on the front seven gives them so much more capability, the ability to play more general in a way that they just haven't in past years. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this defense performs if players stay healthy and if this front seven is as dominant as a lot of people around here think.
Wouldn't the ultimate move be just now this season, no trickery? Like you just do exactly what you lined up to do?
Yeah, I mean, it would be the ultimate move. But again, Brian Flores,
not happening.
This guy, I think he's on the sideline antsy. Like if we don't send 7 guys because I'm just bored, then what'll be interesting is Saturday, so in 2 days, which I have no idea what day it is, but Saturday when the Vikings play the Texans, sometimes in these preseason games, Flores is just showing nothing. It'll be interesting to see, I guess for me, maybe not like normal people who don't care about a preseason game, how much he's actually showing on Saturday.
Alec Lewis from The Athletic is with us. How much do we think we'll see of J.J. McCarthy on Saturday, 3:00 against the Texans?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't have any intel on it. I haven't even asked. I told somebody, part of me just wants to experience it the way that everybody else will, where you're like, that's the curiosity and the question, and we all find out together. I'd say, I'd be pretty surprised in some way if he.
None of you guys out there have asked this question. You just want to experience it. What is happening with the sports writers of the Twin Cities?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be pretty surprised if he plays the whole first half.
Yeah.
Now he might. I'd say I would probably peg it around a certain number of drives, maybe like two or three drives,
Makes
a quarter.
Sense, yeah.
That feels most fair. But yeah, I'm off the rails.
I mean, we don't want him to get hurt, but the guy has to play. He's got to get some snaps for sure. Last question. We knew Jordan Addison was going to be suspended. He is suspended for the first 3 games of the season. What is the team sort of, I guess, what's the plan?
Yeah, I'd say, look, this was a long process that began last summer after he got arrested for the second time. The team had prepared.
They knew.
The team had been preparing for months that this was probably going to come down from the NFL. And so, it's a very good question of they're not going to have him for the first 3 weeks. He's not going to be in the building the first week, and then he can practice and be in training camp and everything until the first week. Then he won't be in the building. Then he's back when the team flies to Dublin to play a game in London. This places a lot on the backs of Jalen Naylor, TJ Hawkinson, Josh Oliver, and really the run game. Those guys and that group are going to have to cover for a receiver who's just incredibly talented. And it's been interesting to just watch and observe Jordan Addison, and it hasn't been like the most crisp training camp, but you wonder how much mentally that's weighing on him. There's pressure on a lot of different facets and groups to be able to cover in that first 3 weeks.
Sure. All right, Alec, good stuff. Appreciate it. We'll visit with you next week, hopefully, but enjoy the next 2 days. Thanks, buddy.
Looking forward to it. I will. Thank you, guys, and enjoy the weekend.
We will. Alec Lewis from The Athletic back in just a minute here on Drive Time.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
612 Saturdays are back at Target Field. Enjoy $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food when gates open.
I'm from the 952. Can I enjoy 612 Saturdays?
The 952 is welcome.
I'm from the 218.
218, 651. Everyone is welcome at 612 Saturdays.
I'm from the 313. How about me?
That's Detroit.
Yeah.
Sure. Enjoy the weekend wind-up with 612 Saturdays presented by Carbliss. $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food. When we're together, the Twins rise as one. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
Don't miss the savings during Runnings Gift Card Bonanza. Shop in-store and online August 12th and 13th. Get a $10 gift card when you spend $100. Get a $25 gift card when you spend $200. And a $75 gift card when you spend $500. The more you spend pre-tax, the more you earn, in-store and online. Don't miss the gift card bonanza at your local Running store. Shop any of our 90 locations or online anytime at runnings.com. Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Summer is here, and it's time to plan your style staycation with Bob's Discount Furniture, where you can find everyday low prices on the hottest styles. The comfiest Consumer Reports recommended mattresses, fast, friendly delivery, and flexible financing to fit your budget. Go to mybobs.com for details. So stock up and score everyday low prices, delivered on time all summer long at your nearest store or at mybobs.com.
Oh, my Bob! Bob's Discount Furniture.
Hey, what's up, flies? This is David Spade.
Dana Carvey.
Look, I know we never actually left, but I'll just say it. We are back with another season of Fly on the Wall.
Every episode, including ones with guests, will now be on video. Every Thursday, you'll hear us and see us chatting with big-name celebrities.
And every Monday, you're stuck with just me and Dana. We react to news, what's trending, viral clips.
Follow and listen to Fly on the Wall everywhere you get your podcasts.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought by Amber Scholl of Scholl & Associates, American Family Insurance. 694 westbound, still a bit sluggish, coming in from 35W to Highway 100. Traveling south 169, get ready for the slowdowns there. Anderson Lakes Parkway to Old Shockley Road. Cedar South slows across the Minnesota River Bridge. Protect what matters most with Amber Scholl of Scholl & Associates with American Family Insurance. From home to your car to your dreams, Amber Scholl and her team are here to help you every step of the way. Call Amber Scholl today, 651-738-4811 to learn more, to visit amfam.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Ready for worry-free water that simplifies life like I have? With a Kinetico water treatment system, you'll enjoy softer skin, spotless dishes, and 36 months 0% financing with approved credit. Schedule your free water analysis today at AquariusHomeservices.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, forecast brought to you by Aquarius Home Services, earning the right to be recommended. Heat advisory will be in effect tomorrow, noon to 10 p.m., so you've been advised. Tonight, showers possible by morning, so if you're hanging out in the overnight hours, have an umbrella. Low is 74 tomorrow, 91 is the high. Heat advisory worthy. Saturday, 85 is the high. Right now, it's pretty sticky out there. 87 on CCO.
Hear about it. Talk about it. Add your voice to the mix. The CCO Talk and Text line. 651-461-9226.
Tell Dan I'm going to Lakeville tonight. I get around, don't you think? Like
a little bit.
Yeah. Why not? We have some friends in Lakeville.
It seems exhausting. That would be my why not.
My
but,
life, or
yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
If it works for you, it works for you.
Yeah. I don't recommend it.
I couldn't do it.
I don't recommend it. I've been to Lakeville before. I think the last time I went to Lakeville, trying to think. You know, when you write about food, like everyone thinks that I'm supposed to have gone to every freaking restaurant in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I live in Maple Grove, Lakeville.
Not next door.
No, it's too far. I think I've been to like Perrin Sur Lago. I think that's a Lakeville place. And I think that's because like some couple invited us down there. And so now we're going with a couple that was on the Colette trip that we took to
There
Portugal.
you go.
How about that?
Sounds like a lovely evening. I hope you have a wonderful time.
I know a lot of people think like if you go on a trip with a bunch of strangers, are they all going to dislike me as much as our listeners do?
It's a fair question.
Yeah.
It's a fair question.
You never know.
Are you planning your Saturday around the Vikings game at 3:00 or?
If you watch the Vikings pregame or preseason game Saturday afternoon and you're not being paid to watch it, there's something wrong with you.
There's going to be Boffo ratings locally. You know that.
I know. 3:00 on a Saturday, though.
Got to figure out what's going on with JJ, man.
I feel like we're not going to get a good picture based on.
You're going to get more data than you have now.
I don't need it. I just
What kind
don't.
of Vikings fan are you to not be obsessed with
good.
the rookie quarterback? What's
I'm
the matter with
good.
you?
I will watch every game, probably.
Just not the preseason games?
I draw the line at that.
I'm going to watch until JJ's out of the game. And after that, I don't.
All
care.
right. I think that's
I
reasonable.
think just, a few series.
Don't you have anything else going on Saturday at 3 in the afternoon?
That depends. Somebody comes calling, want me to do something, then I'm busy.
Then you're busy.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my calendar, sadly wide open. So
You're going to watch.
if I'm home,
You're going to watch.
I mean, listen to me. I was watching ESPN Ocho the other day. They had a thing on ESPN called the Slippery Stairs or something.
Oh, my.
And the whole contest is climbing these stairs that are like iced up.
And you were watching.
I probably spent an hour watching.
There you go.
Watching Slippery Stairs on the Ocho. Henry Lake, full regular show for the Lakesters, so stick around here on CC.
Stealing Meats of Piers is where tradition meets